Right, we're live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another game of international rugby. This one is huge. South Africa taking on Wales. Almost a whole new Springboks starting lineup up against the Welsh side. They have only made one change to their starting lineup, so it's going to be exciting, should be entertaining, and it's only going to be about 35 minutes away from the kickoff. It's going to be very close. Let's hang around, and also we have got the here we go. This is huge, the massive game, or the biggest game since the Lions Door. Massive. No game as important as this a game. Okay, says Gareth there, and also we have got Aiden in the chat. But I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope you're all excited for this matchup. It is looking like a very nice afternoon, and it is normally the home ground of the Free State Cheetahs, who did very nicely in the Curry Cup more recently, and we did see them manage to make their way all the way to the final. But we will look through at the starting lineup first of all for the Springboks. They are the home side in this contest, and this is a side that they have gone with a whole new front row with Thomas Detoy, Joseph Dweber, and Trevor Nakanye there as the front row. Then Eben Etzebeth. He is actually the lone survivor of that last matchup that we saw, and he is the only guy who gets to keep his position in the starting lineup. He will certainly be able to bring that physicality to this matchup. He is warming up now as we can see him on the screen, and I'm hoping does have himself a big game. Marvin Ori will be slotting in as number 5, and also you're out of focus, says Hangarat, and also Wales, let's go. And there says Aiden there, but now looking through at the loose forward trio will be Marcel Kurtzer at number 6, Peter Steftatoy at number 7, and it's absolutely brilliant to see that man back. He has been playing in Japan more recently, I guess you could say, than the Springboks, but he has still had a very long time since getting himself any international caps, so hopefully he does manage to just adapt straight back to the form that he was in, as he has got a couple Player of the Year awards for himself, doing push-ups at the moment, so well and truly getting warmed up, and let's go, what a boy, says that Nathan there as well, and also looking through at the last name in that loose forward trio, it is Evan Roos. He gets himself his Springbok debut. He is fantastic for the Stormers, the player of the season in the URC, and of course the Stormers able to add themselves to the URC championship pool for that last matchup of the season up against the Bulls. But then looking through at the back line, Jaden Hendrickson, big opportunity for him at number 9. We did see Faf de Klerk last week, but he didn't quite bring that kicking game that they were hoping for, which is why he has been subbed out for this one. Andre Pollard slots in at 10. Elton Yankees is nowhere to be seen this week, and from that result and from that performance last week, it's probably understandable that he is not going to be there. Andre Esterhuizen, the big man, does play for the Harlequins in the Gallagher Premiership, starting at inside centre. Outside centre will be Jesse Creel, and Apelele Fasi out on the left wing, Kurt Learenza out on the right, and then Warwick Galant gets his opportunity at number 15. So a very strong Springbok side. Like I mentioned, a lot of changes from last week, but I feel they will be able to gel relatively quickly, and if they do so, they might be able to get themselves quite a decent score on the board. Looking through now at the Welsh starting lineup, Gareth Thomas, Ryan Elias, and Dylan Lewis in the front row. Will Rowlands and Adam Baird slotting in as it's the locks. Then it will be Lydiate at number 6, Reffel at 7, and then Talupe Falatau. He was probably one of the more impressive players for Wales in last week's performance. And they have got Kieran Hardy at number 9, Dan Bigger. He needs a massive game at number 10 here as fly half if he does want any chance of Wales getting themselves their first ever win on South African soil. Nick Tompkins and George North will be the midfield combo. Alex Cuthbert, actually the only man in the starting lineup who has been changed for Wales, that is rather than Josh Adams. And then it will be Lewis Rees-Zammit out on the right wing, Liam Williams at fullback. And I should mention Lewis Rees-Zammit coming off 2 tries last week in a first matchup up against the Springboks, where we have got there. Hamish, your internet okay, says hang around. I believe it is. It hasn't really shown that it is blurry or anything. So maybe if you try reloading the live stream hanger may end up working not too bad. And also what's happened to Chuparik, I believe few injuries have been lurking for him, unfortunately, which is why he has kind of been a little bit more 50-50 with whereabouts he's been. But yeah, we haven't seen him in action too much in recent times. They are just showing you have won 31 of the 38 previous test matches up against Wales. And every single time that they play in South Africa are the side who do walk away the victors. But South Africa's bench, that is one of the main reasons. It is going to be Malcolm Marx. Then it is Nathuko Machunu slotting in there at number 17. And then Vincent Koch at number 18. Ruan Nokia, big opportunity for him. There's going to be a debut opening up for this young number 19. Then Reniard Elstad slotting in at number 20, Dion Forrey at 21. So they have gone with the 6-2 split once again for the Springboks in this contest. Grant Williams at number 22, and then Damian Valimza will be there at number 23. Quickly looking through at the Welsh bench, it is Dewey Lake. He was able to score himself a try last week. Then that will be Wyn Jones At number 17, which is great to see him there, Wainwright. At number 18, Alan Wynne-Jones, with all that experience, he will be there. At number 19, Josh Navidi, then Thomas Williams, Gareth Anscombe, and Josh Adams does slot in at number 23. I hope Katie pops in and miss her. Says Aiden there in the chat as well. But yeah, I think this game might not be a terrible time in the USA, although I think it's still relatively early morning, so she may currently still be sleeping. But from looking at the Springboks bench and from the Welsh bench, there's certainly going to be some big impact players in the later stages of this contest, and I can't wait to see who is able to help their side towards the victory. But I'm looking straight away at number 8, Ivan Ruas and Roa Nokia as the replacement. Two guys who did play in that URC final will be looking to go head-to-head and try and get themselves more of the starting lineup space for the third test match. The Northern Hemisphere are laughing at us today. Springboks, please save us, or save us, I think that is. From reality always wins. And also, are we going to watch the match here, says WJ Kruger. Unfortunately, due to licensing, we're unable to show any match footage or audio, so I do apologize big time for that. But you can watch it on DSTV. Also, alongside that, the options are the Sky if you're in New Zealand, Stan Sport if you're in Australia, and then also, I believe it is on Flow Rugby, I want to say, and also No Surges Commentary says hang a rat there. But we are starting nice and early, mainly because I was going to start later, but I was just too excited about this game. Wanted to talk all about it and looking at the stats that we do see. And also, no way these Crows babies can win a giant world champion, team. Go Bok, says Jake Raptor. But that's the thing. It was a close game last week, a lot closer than a lot of people anticipated. And that was with a Welsh side who only had 12 men on the field, and they were still able to somehow score a try up against the Springboks, something that not many teams do have. I guess you could say the skill to be able to do because of that strong Springbok defense. But Elton Yankees getting subbed at halftime was a huge one for the Springboks. And they will be looking to certainly get their combinations right in the early stages of this contest. And also over there, Bok. And there says Betty now. But yeah, the Springboks with 14 changes in their starting lineup. A lot of people were concerned, but I think they're definitely going to gel quickly. And they will be able to have a decent enough impact for the first kind of 30 or so minutes. I think they're just going to go absolutely hectic with the pace that they do play this game at and try and really wear down Wales, because that is something that they probably didn't get the opportunity to do in that first half of the last match. Wales actually leading that game at halftime, whereas the Springboks, that second half was all them, and they were able to make their way over the try line multiple times, including Cheslin Colby. He was able to get himself one, also scoring another try in that match. Believe it was, I've already forgotten, unfortunately, Bongi Manambi and Malcolm Marks were the other two try scorers, one of which will be coming off the bench in the later stages of this game, and that is Malcolm Marks. But Andre Pollard, very experienced Springbok fly half, does get the opportunity to come back into the lineup. Apalele Fassi is another young player to watch out for. And who is Dion Forrey? Who does he play for? Says Hang a Rat. So he is a representative of the Stormers. He's an impressive man. The thing is, I remember him from the URC season because he has two black eyes normally, a bleeding lip, a bleeding nose. He just still gives it 150%. So he is actually one that will certainly be able to bring that extra physicality in the later stages of the match. His discipline's normally not too bad either. So as long as he gets that discipline right, he should be all good for this contest. But Jesse Creel, he is warming up. Quite a few of these players been playing overseas, not actually in the URC competition. And Jesse Creel is one of those guys. And a couple of young guys such as Kurtley Arenza getting an opportunity. I remember him as a hooker. Says Gareth there. And also we have got there the Welsh. We're pretty salty this week. At least we have a legend like Flesh, and says Gareth there. And also the box says LB there. But do let me know your score predictions. So, yeah, do let me know. And also we have got there from 3-18 to a loss. I'm sorry, Wales are not a real threat, says Reality always wins. Although the thing is, the Springboks would have hated giving up 18 points. Like, as much as the win is important, that's one thing that the Springboks hate is conceding tries. And to have Lewis Rees-Zammit run past twice is something that the Springboks won't even let be a slight hesitation in this match. I feel the defense is going to be a lot stronger. The play that they do have, it will be a lot more strategic. If they do kick it, it will be into precise areas because they don't normally have two bad games in a row, the Springboks. And you'd have to say last week was a little bit more of a rougher game for the Boks. And also, hi, I was listening to you this morning, Amish, but I can't type in bed. I have no voice now. What a day, says Richard there. Yeah, there are plenty of international matches. This is actually not the last one that we are going to be doing on the channel. We have still got one more contest, and that will be Argentina taking on Scotland, which promises to also be a hard-hitting affair. And also 27-18 to Wales, says Aidan, and also 32-20 to the Boks, says Gareth. And also if the Boks had a kicker last week, the picture would have been quite different, says Hangarat. Yeah, Elton Yankees, he's probably fair enough not being in the starting lineup for this contest just because it did go certainly wrong for him. But they are practicing the rolling maul at the moment, getting all warmed up for this contest. And that is one thing that I expect to see from the Springboks relatively often throughout this matchup. They will take the threes when they're available for Andre Pollard, but then if they get the opportunity to kick for the corner, they will certainly be able to make the most of it. But Andre Pollard is normally very handy for the British and Irish Lions tour. We did see beautiful kicks to the corner, which is something that can really help a side get that rolling maul going as well. And let's go the Kiwi lads, come on Springboks. And but imagine being the All Blacks, says Gareth, or imagine being the Wallabies as well. The moment Southern Hemisphere rugby this round has gone 2-0 down. Last round it was 4-0. This round 2-0 already. So the Springboks and Argentina, if they both win their games, we head into the last round at a 2-2 situation for this round. So that is something that they will certainly be trying to look towards. But Andre Pollard, recent caps at the moment, 64th cap for him in this matchup. Peter Steph-Toy sitting on 60, and there is no Sia Khaleesi or Dwayne Vermeulen for the lineup in this matchup. So it will be interesting to see how they go without Captain Khaleesi, and instead it is Captain Pollard who will take the reins for this one. And I hope we don't see as much kicking as we did have last week. I hate mentioning the kicking, and I feel like Springbok fans hate when people mention how many kicks there were, but Faf de Klerk, it's good to see him out of the starting lineup. I was hoping to see either Jaden Hendricks there. Maybe they could have gone with Herschel Yankees as well if they did need that option, but instead it is going to be Hendricks and then off the bench, I believe. I'm just going to quickly have a look at who it is. It is going to be Grant Williams as a replacement, so he will be a very handy option for them in this contest. Damian Valimza as well. He was one of the best players out there on the field for the Springboks, I felt, last week, so he should be able to have a decent enough crack off the bench, whether he slots in at centre, whether he slots in at fly half, whether he slots in on the wing or fullback. He's a versatile man, Damian Valimza, and will be looking to really create an impact for his side. And that's the thing, he had probably the most running meters out of any of the Springbok players, other than maybe Cheslin Colby, a couple of big runs. I hope Pollard shines today because we have a fly half problem, says Jake Raptor. Yeah, it's been mentioned quite a few times about if it's not Elton Yankees and it's not Andre Pollard, who is it for the Springboks currently? I know they've got a couple of those young guys coming up through the rankings. Kuhn Bosch's name has been thrown around a little bit. Damian Valimza maybe slotting it at fly half rather than fullback. And other than those two, I mean, way in the future, you've probably got the young guys who's Cade Volhata. I guess he might have a decent chance. Will you be showing the game? Says Alelden. Unfortunately, due to licensing, we're unable to show any match footage, so I do apologize for that. I expect the Wallabies to lose. And there says Gareth, and also we have got there. I'm sorry for laughing, but am I the only Wales fan in the chat? Says Aiden, it might be relatively high up there at the moment, and also probably no worries, though, says Hangarat, and I kind of hope Wales win. Says Navmana, man, this result this weekend is the direct opposite of last week, says Hanley now, exactly right, which does mean if somehow Wales are able to overcome the challenge that is the Springboks, we will get to see ourselves 3 deciding third test matches of a series. But the last time that these two sides played at Toyota Stadium was 2008. South Africa able to win at 43 points to 17. And also we have got there what happened to the person who said at halftime, Ireland go home, Ireland, we're all over them. If we took our chances, we would have won by 40. As Richard there, they seem to always disappear when the full-time result comes through. I've had it many times before. People have made bets with us saying if such and such actually ends up winning this game, we will come back and we will give you money, or we will admit that we were wrong. You never see them again. They just disappear off the face of the earth. And hang in there, Aiden, let's get it. Says that Nathan there as well. So we'll ask the question once again. First try scorer of this contest, who are we thinking will be able to get over the line? Now, I should mention the try scorers, a majority of them from last week, Cheslin Colby, Bongi Umbanambi, both not in the starting lineup for South Africa, but they have still got one man in that starting lineup who was there last week, and one and only, and that is Eben Etzebeth. And they people who showed the game last week have obviously been banned. Says Gareth, they will be back though. Like, it's one of those ones that all it takes is to create another account, and they will probably end up streaming it on this one as well. So it's never really a given how many people you have watching. So I am absolutely thankful for every single one of you for tuning in. I do hope you are able to find either a replay of the game or the highlights of this match after it is finished. Maybe for Scotland and Argentina, George North has a monster of an outside centre. Unfortunately, he's not performing. Or he's a monster of an outside centre. Unfortunately, he's not performing. Says Bonga there. And yeah, that's the thing. For Wales, in this lineup. I am quickly going to show you guys their lineup once again. They've got some big players who need to step up in this game. Last week, I felt Talupe Falata was one of the best players out there on the field for either side, the way he was playing, bringing that physicality. Also, another player who needs to go well is Dan Bigger. He did get himself a yellow card at the end of the first half. But other than that, his kicking was solid. He did miss one kick, though, that really would have been on the mind of Bigger. Overall, was very solid. Like you mentioned, George North is one to certainly watch out for. And if he can link up with Lewis Rees-Zammit and Liam Williams can join that back line a little bit more, this could be a dangerous Welsh one for them. I see Jamie Roberts actually on the touchline here doing a bit of the interview. Of course, he used to play for Wales, the man who's got the mammoth chin and also was playing for the Waratahs more recently in Super Rugby Pacific. But anyone who hasn't seen the Springbok lineup, this is what they have gone with for this contest. Eben Etzebeth, the only man in the starting lineup who was there last week. Evan Roas gets the opportunity at number 8. Also, Peter Steph-Toy returning into the Springbok side. I cannot wait to see what that man can do. And I really hope he doesn't get injured because he's one of the unluckiest guys when it comes to injuries in world rugby. But hoping he does end up going very well. Apalele Fassi and Kurt Leorenza, he is on debut for this contest. And then Andre Esterhuizen, the Harlequins midfielder, will get a big opportunity for himself as well. And also on the positive side, the series in the Southern Hemisphere does bring a greater contest in rugby. Next year's World Cup will not be a foregone conclusion. And there says Angerat, yeah, exactly right. And the fact that it's in the Northern Hemisphere just adds a little bit more excitement to that as well. And all these changes can be good and bad. The guys need to gel as a team in the first 10 minutes, says Leon, yeah. Making 14 changes in a starting lineup is a rarity at international level. And the reason for that is normally because unless those players have built that chemistry up, that can really cost you. But I feel South Africa are the type of side that will take like 5 minutes or so. Maybe Wales get the better of the first 5, but then South Africa, they start to find their rhythm. Quite a few of these guys in the back line haven't actually played in the same competition. So that is something to think about. The fact that Jaden Hendrickse, he was playing in the URC for the Sharks. And then we also got, they love how you pronounce Arenza. Have I got it wrong? Is it Arenza or have I said it slightly wrong? Do let me know, Hanley, now. Yeah, Jesse Creel, he was playing overseas. Andre Esterhuizen, Gallagher Premiership. Apalele Fassi also playing for the Sharks, so that is a benefit. But then Andre Pollard, he was actually in Montpellier and now has slotted in to the Leicester Tigers lineup. And also France are saying right now, like what a team gets to swap Dupont into back with Lukhu and Jalabert or Dante and Fiku for Mofana and Fakatava. Yeah, they're certainly very impressive. I'm convinced with Pollard at 10, there will be a lot of kicking, says Leon, and hopefully not as much as last week because we saw, I mean, I always say it, each and every game we see of the Springboks, I say surely the next game we can't have more kicking than the previous, and we do get it. So hopefully this game will be a little bit different. I don't think Jaden Hendrickse will go for as many box kicks unless he's told to as well. And also, Leka Kiwi Lad says, Ryan, welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing well. Yeah, I really hope the World Cup next, is very competitive between the South and the North, says Emerald there. And also, we have got, depends on the game plan, says Hangarat. And the sad thing is, if everyone is clever in All Black Rugby the world, they would sack the manager and put Joe Schmidt, and the All Blacks can't be bet, unfortunately, for Ireland, says Richard Singh. And yeah, the one benefit of Ireland winning that is not only does it give them a bit of confidence, but next week now, we are going to get to see a deciding matchup between New Zealand and Ireland. And just to top that a little bit more, after that game, we have got a deciding matchup taking place between England and Australia. So we're really getting spoiled for international kind of rugby playoff games. The only way that this game goes to a playoff one or the series goes to a playoff is if we see South Africa beaten by Wales, which is a massive monumental task. It never happened before on South African soil. But if there's ever a time to try and do it, it is for Wales. And it is right now when they have made many changes. But the other side of things, if they're not careful, is they could get themselves about 20 points put on them. And hopefully the Springboks can make the Southern Hemisphere proud. Don't trust Argentina to do it, says Harley now. Yeah, it's going to be a tricky one for Argentina, of course, with the fact that they are, I guess, having a couple injury problems. I know that they've lost Nicolas Sanchez. They've also lost themselves. I think Pablo Matera is out of the starting lineup and reserves for that matchup. Peter Steph-Toy currently warming up with the side alongside Apalele Fassi. A few very young guns in this side and a couple experienced men trying to hold this side with the structure, holding them together. But it looks like it's going to be another sellout in South Africa for this contest. We are only about 15 minutes away from the kickoff. It has been flying by. We've already been going for 20 minutes on this live stream. But yeah, if you haven't already, be sure to let me know who you think will be able to score themselves the first try of this contest. And Arinza pronounced Arinza. Arinza, in as in bin. Arinza. Okay, so it's Arinza rather than Arinza. Okay, I will note that down and we'll try my absolute best to get it right. And I'm excited to see the new explosive Bok team, says Jaden there. And also Scotland will win. Wales will get hammered as well, says Richard. And I feel like Foster has a near impossible task. The weight of Graham Henry and Steve Hanson's success isn't possibly beat, says Gareth. And also, as a Bok coach said, today's facts or today's acts as a final for the selection next week will be the same for the ABs and Wallabies. And I'm excited for next week. It's the first time a series where Ireland and New Zealand all comes down to the last game, says the Emerald Guardian. And yeah, it's going to be an absolutely awesome one to watch. And Ivan Roos will score the first try on an international level. If he plays like he did in the URC, he will be absolutely fine and will be taking over those boots of Dwayne Vermeulen before we know it, because Vermeulen not even in the side. Well, and also I love your pronunciation of the Safa team players. It's Rinsa in there as well, says Emile Leroux. So yeah, I do get his name slightly wrong, but he is on debut for this one. So the good news is, if he plays well, he should get plenty more time in the Springboks lineup, and I will be able to practice his name, because we have been watching him in the Curry Cup, but I don't think anyone's ever corrected us, to be fair. So I feel like that is one that is very handy to know for this one. Toy to score first try, says Jake there. So is that Thomas Toy that you are going with, or Peter Steph Toy? Do let me know. I hope Jesse has a good day. He's worked hard for a long time, says Gareth there. Yeah, always right on the verge of whether or not he's going to get selected inside or whether he is going to end up missing out. And also emphasis on the A and there. So Arinza. Hopefully that's not too bad overall. And also, yeah, I've got in Scotland will win. Wales will get hammered. And Elton Yankees, with his confidence shattered, is a better distributor of the ball than Pollard. It depends upon also on the game plan, says Leon. And I doubt they will go with the same game plan that they went with last week up against Wales, because they found that it wasn't so safe giving Wales the ball for so long. And also, we're going to thank, if you're back, man, Miss Jesse's been here all day, mate. But it is great to see you here once again for another live stream. We have still got another one a little bit later on tonight. Argentina taking on Scotland. It's going to be an exciting one. I hope Wales are victorious today to make next week's game exciting, says the Vault. And yeah, that's the thing. I feel like it needs to be a close game between these two sides this week to keep the hype alive for that third and final test match. If it's 2-0 up for the Boks, then maybe a little bit of that excitement of the tour does end up going away. But then the big question is, who is the lineup that South Africa will go with next week if they do end up changing it? And also, Yao says JP and some clan was busy saying France are mighty. I laughed and asked him how many times did France win the World Cup. He finished. Says reality always wins. And Arinza, maybe. Hopefully it's not too far off. I feel like that name is going to be one that really stumps me throughout the live stream. And also, we have got there from Xander. I assume that is, can we watch the game here? And sadly, due to licensing, we're unable to show any match footage or audio, but I can recommend where you can find the highlights of this game straight after it does get underway. And also, Pollard is going to run hard at Bigger, is Viscount, and he's got to, because Dan Bigger in the last game up against Elton Yankees probably looked like the better fly half. So he needs to make sure that he's on the back foot straight away here. And if he is, it's going to be danger for Wales. And also with the S, not the Z, Arinza, or Arinza, how do you say it? I'm trying to think of how I say an S now. Arinza, maybe, rather than Arinza. Is it Arinza? Also, a single rise cycle is not enough, says, or a single rinse cycle is not enough, says Fluffy. And also, did Ringrose fail his second HIA after his first HIA? He did. Unfortunately, it did mean that now I don't think he will be available for the next match. And also, yes, says Lawrence there. So it is Arinza rather than Arinza. That is good news. Hopefully, I can get it not too far off for the pronunciation of the matchup when it does end up getting underway, which is only about 10 minutes away. It's going to be awesome when, as the game says, it was in there. Yeah, it is 10 minutes away from this contest getting underway. It's going to be a massive clash between these two sides, and I cannot wait to see them both in action. And also, we have got there Arinza, says Peter Lowe. And also, we have got there Arinza. Am I saying enough A's at the start? I feel like I need like one or two more A's and Estays, and it's going to run hard on Bigger, says Ryan. Yeah, I think Bigger will be the target because Nick Tompkins normally not too bad in defence. And then alongside that, it is going to be a very dangerous man on the outside in George North. And also we have got there Arinza in there as well. And also we have got there, so he is out of the tour Dan, I believe so, and you pronounce very well for not being Afrikaans, says Delana. I do try my absolute best. I have been learning how to say a lot of these names for a pretty long time to make sure that I get somewhere near correct. And also what time. So it is going to be 10 minutes away. And also we have got there, bro, what a massive effort, or what an awesome effort. You must be tired. I'm actually feeling not too bad. To be honest, we have already finished about 10 hours of live streams. We have still got another like 5 hours left. And also we have got there, Arinza was pronounced spot on, but he says Zach there. And also we have got there, Arinza. There's says Barry Miles. I feel like that's going to be one of the names that anytime he gets the ball, I'm just going to be sitting here going, oh no, I'm going to have to try and say it. But this is a beautiful stadium. Free State Cheetahs normally play here for the Currie Cup. And also, at the end of the day, it's going to be a stadium that will be packed to the rafters for this matchup. And also we've got Archdep is and Harik Punya in there. And also we're going to go All Blacks. Oh, that's right. And the country with the big bouncy rats lost to England, says Sebastian there as well. And also, where are the lights? Come on, guys, says Delana. Yeah, if you haven't already, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And Kaylee said, hey, Kiwi lad, what is your take on the All Blacks loss? And what is your time, man, says Kaylee. So currently we are sitting at 3 a.m. New Zealand time, so a little bit late in the evening, I guess you could say. But that game that did take place between New Zealand and Ireland, New Zealand just never quite got themselves into that contest. Ireland started the exact same way that they did in that first test match. They started strong. Their backline is just beautiful when it gets going. And I'm looking forward to seeing Ireland versus South Africa in the World Cup next year, because I think it's going to be a pretty good contest, although the box, they would like to back themselves. And that one we have also got there, yo, what's got my man, says Rugby Geeks. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing well. If you're excited for yet again another match, and also we can make a drink game out of Arinza. Each time Hamish says it, we drink, says Hangarat. And also Japan was so unlucky this morning. Fantastic match. They always get so close for the South Africans, or sorry, for the Japanese, but just end up missing out while you show the match. Sadly, due to the licensing, we are unable to show any match footage or audio, but we will be doing the commentary, and I can tell you guys exactly where to watch the highlights after the match when they do get uploaded onto YouTube. Somewhere you got this, mate. Which way you see this one going, says Peter Lowe. For me, it's got to be South Africa winning this game. They won't allow Wales to keep as close as they did twice in a row, I don't believe. But it's very tricky to tell. And Irish eyes are smiling. And also we have got there, is it going to be live stream? Sadly, not on our channel due to that licensing side of things. But we will be going through, once again, the South African starting lineup and reserves, as well as Wales side for this exciting contest in South Africa. Thomas Du Toit, Joseph Dweber, only one cap to his name. And then Trevor Nakania, the man with the massive tongue that's always a different colour. He will be there at number 3. Eben Etzebeth, the only Springbok player who gets to stay in that starting lineup. He is there at number 4. And then Marvin Ori will be slotting in at number 5. Marcel Kurtzer, Peter Steph Du Toit back at international level. Absolutely awesome to see that man back. South Africa fan, says Mario there. And also we are meeting South Africa this November in Dublin. I think, well, that is going to be an absolutely awesome clash. Also, so funny, hubby, watching you on the big screen. I'm on the laptop with headphones, says Delana. So yeah, hopefully the commentary isn't going to be too bad compared to the matchup as well. But Evan Ruas, I am excited to see that man in action for the Springboks. He's played brilliantly in the last matchup. And yeah, it's going to be pretty awesome, because the last matchup I am talking about, of course, is the URC final, which the Stormers were able to win. Jaden Hendrickson, Andre Pollard, there is the 19 combo. Andre Esterhazen and Jesse Creel starting in as the centres. And then Apalili Fassi, Kurtley Arenza, sorry, I got it slightly wrong. And also Warwick there at number 15. Then quickly looking through at the Welsh starting lineup for this contest. Gareth Thomas, Ryan Elias, and Dylan Lewis as the front row. Will Rowlands and Adam Beard starting in as the locks. And then Lydiate, at number 6, Reffel at 7, and Talupe Falatau did very nicely in the last match. He will be there at number 8. Kieran Hardy gets the start at 9, Dan Bigger at 10, and Nick Tompkins and George North as the midfield. Cuthbert, he is the one change to Wales starting lineup, and that is rather than Josh Adams. And then Lewis Rees-Zammit, the man who scored himself a double last week. Then Liam Williams at number 15. Quickly looking through the benches, and I will go straight back to the chat. But the next few names that we are looking at are known as the bomb squad for South Africa. Malcolm Marks, Machunu is there on debut, and then Vincent Koch at number 18. Ranokia also getting himself the debut. He'll be slotting in there at number 19. And then Riyad Elstrat there at number 20. Dion Forrey, another debut. South Africa having plenty of them throughout this contest. Grant Williams and Damian Valimza, a man who I felt played pretty well in the last week's match and was probably unlucky to miss out on the starting lineup. But Dewey Lake, he scored a try last week for Wales. Wyn Jones and Wayne Wright as the front row replacements. Alan Wyn Jones, with all of his experience, probably more than a majority of this Welsh bench combined. Then Josh Navidi, Thomas Williams, Gareth Anscombe, and then Josh Adams does slot in as the last name there. And a lineup, and well done to Ireland. I love my All Blacks. And I agree, mate. Yako was being out of order. Hopefully Karma will come after South Africa for that. Says Sebastian there. And of course, the All Blacks will make the final with South Africa, says Rolly there. And also maybe George at 13 wasn't such a bad idea. Kind of like Damien De Allende for the box, says Hangarat. Yeah, man, who I felt didn't go terribly last week, but did get dropped from the lineup, sadly for himself. But these two sides just about to make their way out onto the park. And they are certainly fired up for this one. And also, will Jesse Creel actually pass the ball? Says Locanio. It's a good question. I hope he does, because he has got some very dangerous men on his outside. So if he gets it right, he might be able to find either Apalele Fasi, or it might be the possibility of Kurtley Arenza out on the other wing. Or Rensa, sorry, I keep on saying it slightly wrong. And also, warm welcome to my fellow Welshman. There's Master Mal there. The South African crowd, they are fired up for this contest, as we knew that they would be, because this is a massive matchup. Wales, Wales, Wales. Yes, guys, hope everyone is good. And there's says Thick Boy. And also, I can't wait to see Tweet the Toy says it was a Master Mel. But of course, Peter Steph the Toy returning to international rugby. It's brilliant to see him back after such a long layoff with injury troubles. He's been playing overseas. He's been working extremely hard to get himself back out here on the park. And he is now going to get to run out with his Springboks side in front of a home crowd. Sold out by the looks of it. There is a child crying at the moment. She is not used to that much noise. And also, can we have some Rensas in the chat, as I says JP? And also, he did have toys when he was a kid, doesn't like to share. Or he didn't have toys when he was a kid, didn't like to share. And also, expect lots of dubious ref decisions, says Master Mal. Hopefully not too many throughout this one. But if this game does go the way of Wales, it will be a 1-1 draw going into the last game of the series. If not, it will actually be the first series that is secured out of these games of North versus South. Ireland versus New Zealand will be going to the third. Australia versus England will be going to the third. This one could be a secured series for the the Springboks. They do end up getting it right. And as the ref says, hang a rat. I'm not actually too sure who we have got as referee in charge of this one, but as soon as I know, I will let you guys know. In last week's game, Wales got robbed. Says Master Mail there, and also, yep, the ref will definitely be a factor. And welcome back, Thick Boy. Hope you're well, mate. Says Sebastian there, and also the boss against the English, says Misha there. And now we are going to have the national anthems on both of these sides. Ref is a South African wider squad member, says Master Mail, and the ref must be fair, says Nicholas there. And the chat, yeah, hopefully it does end up going decently for both of these sides. But currently we have got the Welsh national anthem being sung by Selim Khagi. Oh, a bit of opera for the start of this match for Wales by the sounds of it. But I'm looking forward to this match. Probably, to be honest, because we had 2 hours in between it. Referee is Angus Gardner of Australia. And there, says Sebastian. So, yeah, we'll be interested to see how he goes in these South African conditions. I don't know whether or not Nick Berry will be allowed anywhere near a South African match after the last time he was there. I think that was what kind of caused some problems at the start. And also Zulu Dawn. And also every time in history, every team in history has been robbed. And also, is he going to show the game, says Tanya. Unfortunately, due to licensing, I can't show any match footage. So I will do my absolute best to give you play-by-play commentary, as well as showing you the scoreboard, tell you the try scorers are, everything except being able to show it due to audio and guideline restrictions, sadly. And Angus Garner, box to lose, says hang a rat there. And also the ref must be fair, funniest thing I've heard in a year. There's Master Mole. But now we have got the South African national anthem. That is actually something that I was looking on guitar for. And I was going to try and learn the South African national anthem. But then I wondered, if I learned the South African national anthem, would the Kiwis get annoyed with me for not knowing our one? But I was going to try and strum it a little bit and also do a bit of picking for it in the future. And also just tell the dumb ifs, shut up, says Peter Lowe. And also drinking game every time someone asks to see the game, says JP. I think everyone would be hammered by the end of it. And Nick Berry shouldn't be allowed anywhere near rugby, says Sebastian. And I got Angus Gardner. Aussie won't let us in, says Gareth. Nick Berry is a champion referee who won us the Australian Super Rugby title last year. It was man of the match for us, says a Master Male there. And Yako can join him, says Sebastian. But now we're at that stage. Once again, anyone who hasn't already, be sure to give me your predictions for this contest. And also, if you haven't already, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We're going to be back next week for another matchup of international rugby. It's going to be absolutely awesome. Our goal by the end of this live stream, I think, should be to get to 3,900 subscribers. So if you do want to help us out, would be hugely appreciated. You're hitting that subscribe button. And Angus Gardner, as the rest says, Rugby Geeks there in Wales, 55-0. There's Master Mail there. And where can I see the game, says Fluffy? I see that you've got a New Zealand flag. So if you are in New Zealand, it is on Sky Sport 1 for you to be able to watch this contest. But yeah, it's going to be a tricky one for outside of New Zealand, other than Stan Sport, DSTV, and 3-box red card, it says Master Mail. Well, that would certainly change the game. That is for sure. And also, Akapoga was banging all to Gareth Ferguson. Here are the ABs in clear daylight, says Sebastian. And also, what is the score, says Name? We are still 0-0. We are here in the South African National Anthem. And then we are about to get ourselves underway. The coaching staff of the Springboks, they were talking to them early on. And yes, having so many changes in a starting lineup can be risky. But for a side like South Africa, they just ease, or they kind of ooze confidence. And that is what they've got in this young side. Wales 32, South Africa 28, says the Vault. And also Farrell's at the wheel, Farrell's at the wheel, Farrell's at the wheel. As I says, River Power, and also great to get a live show. So here's Billy there. Angus Gardner in charge of this one of Australia. Matthew Carley, the assistant referee from England. Piardi there as the other assistant referee. He is Italian. And then the TMO is Australian. Wales by 10. And the Ozark says Rio Game, and also South Africa Anthem is like 5 languages. And then SA says Paulette there. But yeah, we are getting very close to the kickoff of this contest. So like I mentioned, if you haven't already, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It is hugely appreciated, and we have got plenty more coming up in the near future. In South Africa 36, Wales 24, Bomb Squad, tear up Wales at the end. Alka Piper, Nick Berry, and Mike Adamson are the shock joint trio, says Sebastian. And also, I always like hearing the South African National Anthem, says Emerald. And yeah, it is always an emotional time for the players, definitely for those guys who are returning after such a long time of being on the sidelines. Kurtley Arenza, sorry. I always say the Z now. And Cape Town, South Africa, says Jacqueline, where she is from. And also, I think Wales are hungry, says Rio Game. And they certainly will be. At the end of the day, this is their last chance to find a way of winning this South African series. Because if they win this, we go to a third game. If they lose it, South Africa have secured the series for 2022. And also, Hot Singer says Mr. Mel, go Wales, says Novmum. Right. This game, we are only moments away from the kickoff, ladies and gentlemen. And Dan Bigger will be getting us underway for Wales. He kicks it off high, and it has gone miles into the sky. Nicely taken by Warakalant for his first. Oh, it's a penalty to Wales. Okay. A little bit of a mistake there from Peter Stiftatoy in the first breakdown back at international level. It just flopped straight over the top, they have said. And where's the suit today, Amish, says Cameron. I did decide to go with just the hoodie look for this one rather than the suit, just because it is probably, that's the thing, if it's a third match decider, I would say I'll probably end up wearing the suit. And also show us your slippers, says Peter Lowe. I don't have slippers, but I got pineapple socks. So take that as you will. And also we have got the shock the box. There's Master Mo. And straight away, Wales are going to get themselves an early opportunity to get points on the board. How's it, Hamish, brother? Doing very well, mate. Extremely excited. And straight away, Peter Stiftatoy just leaving his feet. Getting that one slightly wrong. No one there for Wales. So he pretty much just fell over with that one. And also Cheeseburger, says Floyd Key. And also we have got there Cheeseburger, says Floyd. And SpongeBob as well, says Peter Lowe. But Dan Bigger, currently an 85% success rate throughout pretty much his whole career, I should say. Now another opportunity for him to try and convert. Bigger strikes. And Bigger gets it. So that will make the score now 3-0 in favour of Wales. And watching you in a suit, you look the part, my boy, looking like a sports reporter, says Mike there. But yeah, we are going to have it back for next week. I did decide to have a little bit more of a casual weekend this time in terms of what I was wearing. But the suit seems to be quite a popular bit of attire by the sounds of it. And also we've got the Undie Stain. Says it was, and they're from Floyd King, but it's kicked off long by Honre Pollard, and Talupe Falatau takes it nicely. Aranza has been able to drag him down. It looks like more than likely there will be a box kick attempt here from Kieran Hardy. And also let's go Angus McOz. And there's our says Nathan. Kicks it high from Hardy. Evan Etzebeff tries to charge it down. The only man in the Springboks lineup who was there last week in the starting lineup. Beautiful take from Alex Cuthbert now on the halfway line, and Wales have got it back. Looks like Kieran Hardy was going to go for it instead. Will Rowlands decides to give it a crack around the side. Joseph Dweber drags him down, and Jaden Henriksen trying to get straight in the breakdown. Now, the last time we saw him in action at international level, or one of the last times, he was actually absolutely nailed illegally by Marcos Kremer. Did end up with quite a serious injury for himself, unfortunately. So hopefully he has fully recovered from that one. But now it's going to be going up high, not quite taken cleanly by South Africa. And that's brilliantly done from Jaden Hendrickson. And he wins the penalty for South Africa. And that is what you want, a halfback who's willing to put his body on the line. And that is exactly what we have just seen from Hendrickson. And like they're saying, his third test match, and he's already pretty much willing to do anything for his side to get the ball back. And heck, says Nathan there as well. Let's go Wales, says Floyd Kingy. And yeah, but that one has been kicked into touch. Very nicely done in 3 points, or 3 minutes and 3 points, says Hanger Rat. And also Wales to start hard, but we'll run out of steam, says Peter Lowe. And yeah, that's the thing, playing in South Africa with that altitude, also playing up against a side that bring on a 6-2 split that normally tears through defensive lines every day of the week. The rolling maul is dangerous for South Africa. We saw them warming it up pretty much throughout the whole of the warm-up stage. And now Joseph Dweber's got the ball at the back. Bongi on Manambi and Malcolm Marks, both hookers, scoring a try last week. Now it's going to be the advantage in favour of South Africa. Jaden Hendrickson passes it back across. Now Andre Esterhuizen gives it back to Pollard. Up a Lele Fassi ball on the outside. This is looking dangerous now. What a glant. One more out to Kurtley Arinza. Gets close to the line. 5 minutes out. Ivan Ruas, the big man from the Stormers. He was phenomenal throughout the URC. Now Horikaland gets closer. And South Africa looking to score the first try of this contest. Now Hendrickson goes back across to Marcel Kutsia. And it's great to see him back. And the Springboks kit, that is going to be an offside penalty advantage. And Hendrickson once again gives it back across to Eben Etzebeth, tackle low. And a very nice one from Thomas Williams. Now back across Thomas the Toy. This is getting very close for the Springboks. Currently 7 phases in. Trevor Nakanye, and he'd love to be able to score himself a try and stick the tongue out and show everyone. Marcel Kurtz, another offside advantage against the Welsh in the early stages. That ball's bounced out, and it is going to be the penalty in favour of South Africa. And also they're not sure about Wales under Pivak. On paper, you really want them to be good, or really want them to be good, but they seem to be really struggle with this season. And also be sure to like and subscribe. People else get to 14K subs by the end of the rugby weekend, says Sebastian. So yeah, if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It is hugely appreciated you guys all being here for this live stream. And we have got one more coming up later on tonight, and that will be the matchup taking place between Argentina and Scotland. But now I believe it was Nick Tompkins, the man they've decided to penalise there for being offside. And also, well, they should kick for the corner, says Hanger at there, and also let go Bok, says normal. Although straight out in front of the posts, probably, I would say it's a nice easy 3, so they might consider that, and they do indeed. Andre Pollard now lining up this kick. Should be a nice just tap over, and the score becomes 3-3 between these two sides early on. So trading penalties for the first little stages of this contest, which is always enjoyable to see when they do end up going back and forth for a little bit of an early chess match. But Willie Leroux, I see him on the sideline running the water. He is not out there for this contest, and altitude wasn't an issue last week. There's Cameron there, and also South Africa finding out Angus is the ref. Angus and Barry sitting in a tree, K-I-C-C-I-N-G. First comes love, then comes marriage, then comes Bryce Lawrence with a baby carriage. And Wales are very small towards South Africa, says Richard there. Dan Bigger kicks off. Once again, looking for a little bit of extra distance on it. Goes just inside of the 22, and brilliant low tackle made by Kieran Huddy on Warrikaland. Almost stolen there in the breakdown by Ryan Elias. But South Africa now, Evan Ruas throws himself at the line. And anytime that man touches the ball, the crowd let up a massive cheer for him. And going to hand out a beat down to South Africa, says True North there. And in the chat as well. So I guess do let me know your score predictions, ladies and gentlemen, for this contest. It's going to be entertaining as always when these two sides play. Liam Williams taking it nicely, but driven backwards by Eben Etzebeth. On the halfway line for Wales, Kieran Hardy goes back to Will Rowlands. Rowlands. I think it's Rowlands. But now counter ruck from South Africa. It's going to work out beautifully for them. Now being able to get that turnover. Might have been offside for a couple of those Welsh players. Now nice pop pass over the top. Little bit of extra. Oh, that's gone into touch. And now it is going to be going back for the line out in favour of Wales. A little bit of skill there from Lewis Rees-Zammit after the ball has it been put out as well. And refs have got everyone angry in the rugby world and going to hand out a beat down to South Africa. And also, if only Luke Pearce could referee every international, says Rugby Geeks. He is actually probably one of those guys who are the most well-respected out of any country, no matter where he is. Although that's the thing. Some people will go, he's too strict. But, like, he only gives penalties normally for things that are bad. Like, there's a difference between giving away a lot of penalties for the sake of it and giving away penalties because of proper infringements type thing. I think Luke Pearce does quite a nice combo. Cuthbert, great low tackle made on him by Arensa. Now Kieran Hardy goes back across. Dan Bigger pop pass up. It was going to be a lot of pressure there. Peter Stiftatoy has been able to regather for South Africa though. And in the breakdown, they have actually been a lot more prominent than we saw in the early stages. I hope the Northern boys bring it back. Or bring it, but and Ben O'Keefe should get the good gigs. Says Sebastian there. Although, that's the thing. People don't seem to like him too much. At times, depending on the game with what one has taken place type thing. And also, Ben isn't the TMO. Says it was Ben Geeks. Or sorry, says Rugby Geeks in Argentina to come. Says Peter Lowe. Yeah, we have got one last game that we are covering on the channel. South Africa versus Wales happening now. Scotland versus Argentina just around the corner, which should also be a pretty entertaining fixture. That will be kicking off at 7:10 a.m. Evan Etzebeth slaps it back onto the side of the Springboks, and Jaden Hendrickson kicks it in behind. He'll need that one to curve just a little bit more, but it's going to pull up inside of the... it was just in play. So Nick Tompkins, he has to clear that one. It's a decent kick, but it hasn't found touch. Play it live, you ball sack, says Christian. We can't because of the copyright infringement, you ball sack. But now it is going to be Wallach Galant. Does a little grubber in behind it. It does go into touch. And Upper Lily Fussy just not quite able to cut it off. 8.5 minutes through this contest, and it is sitting 3-3 between these two sides. The North remembers. That's all I will say, says True North. And also, okay, guys, let's be fair. We all thought Nigel Owens was trash in the beginning, but we thought Wayne Barnes was trash, and they both turned out to be the best. And it was the referee for this one. It is Wayne Barnes, and also, yeah, Pierce has really good balance of letting the game flow, says Rugby Geeks. And also, we've got their drink, says JP there, but 9 minutes in. Seems like an early kicking game from the Springboks, but the big difference is the kicks that they have gone for haven't really been the same type of box kick that we saw last week. They've actually been going for those attacking plays in behind, seeing whether or not, again, open up the good opportunity. Now, De Weber short ball to Andre Esterhazen. Does play for the Quins throughout the Gallagher Premiership, which is why I know that it will be one of Sebastian's favourite players out there on the field today. It's a penalty to Wales, though, over the ball. I believe there was Tommy Reffel was able to get the penalty turnover. Now, Dan Bigger slow on this one down. And also, I did question Wayne at first, but not Nigel, never, says Sebastian there. And also, if you asked, or if you have $1 for every time someone asks to show the game, you could buy a house, says Novmum, or I could buy licensing to be able to show the game. Although I probably need a lot for that. Like, I don't even know how much some of these ones go for, but I would say that to buy licensing to show a Springboks game in New Zealand above Sky, you're probably looking at a good few million at least. And I only ever questioned Nigel Owens when he reffed England. He really hated the English, says Rugby Geeks. And also we have got there, well, that was not a yellow. The Wales player grabbed the South African player's leg, says Richard. And also Estays in the worthy one. Now Ryan Elias about to throw this ball in. It has gone in quite nicely. And now the rolling maul does begin. Adam Beard involved in this one. He is starting this match. Alan Wynne-Jones coming off the bench. And the only two people who need to stay away is Brian Lawrence and Marius Jonker, says Gareth. Now still rolling just a bit further forward up to the halfway line now for Wales. And the box kick does go up. So they're trying to put the pressure on South Africa just outside of the 22. Not quite taken cleanly. And Lewis Rees-Zammit unable to clean it up. But Wales, it has bounced favourably back into their hands now. Lewis Rees-Zammit gets another carry. And he was able to get 2 tries in that last match, which is something he wouldn't mind doing again. Nice wide cutout pass now off to Cuthbert, who has looked strong throughout the early stages, but he's just been swarmed by a sea of Springbok. I think he had Jesse Creel, Kurtley Arenza, and then also in there, I think it was Andre Esterhazen, which isn't really the combination of players you want trying to attack you out, but Dan Bigger gives it back now into the hands of Thomas Francis. Now pass back, Kieran Hardy, Dan Bigger ball on the inside to Nick Tompkins, who's running sideways, now finds the offload on the outside. Gives it off to George North. A little bit of a juggle from Lewis Rees-Zammit, tackled by Jesse Creel. And the thing with Wales here, they need to make sure that they keep that structure, because the Springboks defence, when you don't play structured rugby, is one of those ones that they'll just break through you. And I only have a question, Nigel, for when he was reffing the English, because I know that that's the thing. To become a referee, that was tackled without the ball from Joseph Dweber, and he's got a big shove in the back. And the process for Evan Roos wants to go over the ball, and it is going to be the penalty. And look how powerful Wales are, says True North, and also a tsunami of antelope, says Fluffier there. Okay, so no issues with the way that Evan Roos got into the breakdown, but it was the initial penalty going the way of Wales because of Joseph Dweber making the tackle off the ball. And that is one of those things that just kind of comes with experience as well. He's only here for about his 3rd test match, maybe even his 2nd. But now Dan Bigger from about 47 metres out. What does he want, Dan Bigger? I think he wants to take on the shot. It is indeed going to be the call from Dan Bigger. So trying to get Wales back into the lead. Now, they were 18-3 up in their last match up against South Africa, but it was that reserves bench that really changed the momentum, and Hooker as a unit, he certainly is, and he took out Will Rowlands pretty easily in that tackle attempt. And Joseph Dweba, he's disappointed with that one. And also we have got, look how powerful Wales are. I mean, at the end of the day, as long as they start this match well, like, it's just that they've got to be almost leading at halftime, I would say, for a very good chance of Wales to go on and win it. And also a bigger pumping the ball full of helium to reach this, says Rugby Geeks. And also the only dubious thing with Nigel is that he always seems to look out for the Irish for some reason. I guess he quite liked Ireland, says Sebastian. And also we have got lots of respect to the Northern boys, though. They are really bringing it. Says Peter Lowe. Dan Bigger, he struck that one not too badly. It just goes away to the right-hand side. So it actually had the distance from Bigger. So a decent crack with that one, but it has missed. And it does mean that the score remains at 3-3. But anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And also you'll hear me say this first. Weber is the best hooker in South Africa, says Gareth. Oh, that's a bold one. Would you call him better than Malcolm Marx? Or do you think in like a couple years' time he will be able to get to that Marx level? Because, I mean, that's the thing. Malcolm Marx, as good of a player as he is, he's just that much better coming off the bench than starting, which is a rarity for some players. Like, normally players would be like, I want that starting jersey, like nothing else. Whereas Malcolm Marx is like, I know what my role is. Late in a game, I can change it for the Springboks if we need that extra little bit of pressure. That's going to be not quite taken cleanly by Waterkalant. Good work in the air, and it is going to be now in favour of South Africa. In fact, no, sorry, it's a favour of Wales. And come on, the Welsh, says Leslie there, and also come on, so many penalties, and you got to have Marks as the super sub, says Sebastian there. He just doesn't have the same impact when he starts a match, and it's nothing against the way that he plays. Like, he's phenomenal, but it just seems to be, like, when I try and think of players around the world in terms of like super subs off the bench, who has more of an impact than Malcolm Marx? There aren't too many at all. You're going to do this out under 20 final between Wales and South Africa, says Peter Lowe. Which day is that taking place, Peter? Do let me know. And also let me know, I guess, what time it would be in either South African time or New Zealand time would be great, just for me to try and calculate when it is taking place as well. But if we can do that game, we will 100% be doing it. We may not know a huge amount of the players, but that is where you guys really help out with these live streams. And ABs will get Ireland back next week. So here's Mike there as well. And now Kieran Hardy about to feed this ball in. 14 metres out from the line. And Wales, they need to be the next team to score points, I would say. And Tuesday, says Peter Lowe. Oh, is that Tuesday South African time or Tuesday New Zealand time? In fact, it might actually be scheduled. Oh, that's a free kick. Kieran Hardy takes it quickly. And Wales trying to keep this game at a high tempo. Tompkins tackled by Pollard. And box to crunch Wales today. Remember, I said this is Craig Goodwin. There, Malcolm is amazing, but Joseph just has a complete overall game. Dweber is basically a massive wing packing down, and he darts. Oh, his darts are pinpoint, says Gareth there. And that's the thing. I know it sounds like a weird statement, but some people do underestimate how important an accurate line-out throw is. Oh, Dan Biggers had a shocker there. He's juggled it, and now it looks like we're trying to get that ball back with South Africa. Now we'll have the scrum feed. But yeah, the likes of Samasoni Takiaho, Asafa Moore, these guys for New Zealand have always been a little bit more 50-50 with that line-out throw, whereas Malcolm Marx, he always gets it relatively on the money. And Joseph Dweber, if he's the exact same, like, that is massive for a side to win 90% of your line-outs throughout a match without fail, like without a line-out not being straight or anything. It can just change the momentum of a game. At Italy time, says Peter Lowe there, and also big respect to the Japanese. I know France didn't have Intermac and Dupont, the key scorers, but that performance deserves praise regardless. Yeah, I always feel bad for Japan because they play such a hard first half. They get themselves into the lead, but in the end, France always manage to show that class and sneak it at the end of the match. Oh, what? Okay, Cuthbert has made his way off the field here. That is massive because he was the only change in the starting lineup. So now Wales are actually to the exact same lineup as they had last week out there on the park. But I should mention, same deal as last week. If Wales end up beating the Springboks, I have to shave this part and just leave the mustache for next week. I had that rule last week. I thought that I was in a bit of trouble at one point, I thought, when we were sitting 18 points to 3. But South Africa saved the beard. Can they save it again? That is the big question. Anyone who is new, like I mentioned, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We are only 5 away from 13,800 subscribers. So if you do want to help us out, it is hugely appreciated. And we have got plenty more coming in the future. Also, check out the Kiwi Lads Sport. It is the pinned comment up in the corner there where you can see all of our other sports videos that we do. And our Ireland win the series, or win the other series. Sorry, dude, as well, says Craig Goodwin. At the end of the day, the way that Ireland played in this match compared to the All Blacks, I don't disagree with you, which is massive to say as a Kiwi, but New Zealand didn't really show anything that showed a real threat to Ireland. And also, Bumfluff says, Rolly, yeah, George has called it the pubes on my face. George is one of the other Kiwi lads. He always mentions about it. Attendance 46,000 for this matchup, so quite a nice attendance for this game at Bloemfontein. Now, ball being fed in by Jaden Hendrickse here in the box. It's gone down in the front row, penalty to South Africa. It was big work from Trevor Nakanye. Fired up in the front row. Thomas Williams just not quite able to handle that extra bit of oomph that was behind Trevor Nakanye there. Currently 17 minutes through. It looks like Andre Pollard will be considering the 3 points. That is exactly what they will be going with. But currently 45 metres out on the angle for this one. Interesting colour of the post, but I believe it is to match the Free State Cheetahs and the Currie Cup. And also we have got there, I will just go do yourself a favour and watch Weber's highlights while at the Cheetahs monster. And he's back next year to the Stormers, says Gareth. Because has he been playing overseas? Or is this most recent season the Cheetahs? Gareth, do let me know. And also Mexican Wave. And then also we have got there George, Professional Slagger, says it was there from Sebastian. He certainly is. He might be back for the next live stream that we have got coming up. And that will be between Argentina and Scotland. But Andre Pollard strikes. And Andre Pollard misses. Okay. So both kickers, Andre Pollard and Dan Biggar, both missing a kick early on in this contest, which is the last thing that they would have been wanting, that is for sure. But now will be the 22 dropout for Wales. These games are a lot closer than a lot of people anticipated, I will mention. And no disrespect to the All Blacks, but it's what happens when you underestimate your opponent, says Peter Lowe. And that's the thing. I've seen a lot of New Zealanders saying that like it was going to be a 3-0 sweep of the series, and I just didn't feel like that was the case. You know, at the end of the day, Ireland, they beat the All Blacks last year. I know some people go, you shouldn't look back at previous results, but the way that Ireland played in that last year's series, for me, made them never an easy beat, even on New Zealand soil. And it's pretty awesome that they've been able to get themselves the first win in New Zealand. And also, you can keep the beard, or you're going to keep the beard, Gandalf, says Craig. Only if South Africa win this contest. If they lose, I have to get rid of it. So I feel like South Africa will be costing me some of my warmth here. And Peter, they were robbed. Yako should take a long walk on a short beer, says Sebastian there. And also that tackle looked bad, says Rio Gamer now. Joseph de Weber. Yeah, nah. I see the one that you're talking about. Ryan Elias there wrapping the arms. Might have been a little bit high. Andre Pollard sounds a bit of a dummy. Tries to make his way through. Apparently inside of their own half here. Jaden Hendrickse about to go for the box kick once again. My hard drives decided they wanted to disconnect, but luckily my camera has not. I've been in France. So here's Gareth there. Oh, who's he been playing for in France? Is he no, he's not Montpellier. That's Brandon Payanga Mosa. I can see him. Is he in Bordeaux? No. He either plays for Bordeaux or a blue team, I think. Joseph Dweber, from what I remember. Now, waiting for this one at the back. Once again, Kieran Hardy is going to be putting up the box kick. Seen actually more kicking from Wales than we have from South Africa throughout the early stages of this contest, which is something that was a little bit different last week. Now chasing after it and not quite taken cleanly by Andre Pollard. And it will now be the option of either a line out for Wales or a scrum feed for Wales there as well. Right, there is a time off here. And it might be going back to check that one for Joseph Dweber and Bordeaux. And there's Sebastian. And also we have got there Tanishia. Hopefully I said that correctly. It said hi as well. Welcome in. Hope you are doing well. But Ryan Elias could be in a little bit of trouble here if they do end up going upstairs. And thanks for the commentary. Elscombe crushed my plans the game. Here's JJ Forrey. And there as well. Okay, number 2 red, Ryan Elias. And also, let's be honest, the Boks got lucky last weekend, says Peter Lowe. And that's the thing. The Springboks, they will admit themselves as well. That game was nowhere near the flawless performance that they would have liked to have. Oh, okay, it's neck. Hits him in the neck, so that's whether or not they decide that it's chest and up or whether it's on the Adam's apple. Okay, see, for me, he hits the chest but still gets a little bit of the chin. So it's probably going to be about Okay, Angus Gardner saying he's not seeing any foul play. I would give it as a penalty. No clear head or neck contact, and also no foul play, says Rugby Geeks there. And also mentioned about last week's refereeing. Watch Nigel Island's channel, and it says Viscount. And also, the tackles are right. Just from the other angle, it looked like high, or looked like head, says Rio Gamer there. But yeah, I can understand why you thought that it could have been, because in full motion or at full speed, it did look relatively high, but he got quite lucky with the way that it did hit him there, rather than just a little bit higher up. Possession currently, Wales have had more of it, 57% in favour of themselves. And also we have got, that's a yellow, says BDV in the chat as well. But territory also in Wales' favour, 57%. So it seems to be relatively even for this one throughout the matchup. But Wales getting a little bit of an early advantage, similar to what we saw last week for them as well. But now that was forward into the hands of Tompkins. So now we have also got their Wales. The score still 3-3. Says Scrumptious South African. Currently, for me, it is 3-3. I might be about a minute behind real time, unless you are talking about why is it not more points in favour of either Springboks or Wales. And currently, it has just been very even. As Snore said, this isn't ballet. Says it was Gareth, and also because both sides are good, says Peter Lowe. Yeah, they matching each other pretty well throughout the early stages of the match. One missed kick for both of these kickers, and Dan Bigger and Hombre Pollard. Just drifted forward from Kieran Hardy to the hands of Nick Tompkins. 20 minutes down already in this contest. That's the thing. These games always fly by between these two sides, and I'm hoping the next week's game is going to be just as entertaining. That will actually also be a 3:05 kickoff in New Zealand time, and we will be covering that one on the channel as well. But 21 minutes through, I've already seen Trevor Nakanye causing a few issues for Thomas Williams at scrum time. A massive Springbok back. That ball just manages to get in. Good hook from Joseph de Weber as the scrum starts to turn. Evan Ross wants it. Big push from Wales late, but Springboks have still got this one. Andre Esterhuizen gives it off to Apalele Fasi. Now, this man has quick step and feet, and he's just been taken all the way into touch there. Or has he? Yes, he has. He has gone into touch there. Nice defense on Apalele Fasi. Ended up running just a little bit too high, and they did end up getting underneath his arms, driving him out. And also, when the nerves settle, the game will improve, says Hang Around. And also, tight game, says Dion Forrey. And also, full contact ballet would be entertaining, says Fluffier. I mean, it's an interesting concept overall. What is full contact ballet, though? What would you do? Because I know that in ballet, there's normally no contact. So is it like you all have to try and perform ballet in a 1 meter square with like 5 other ballet artists? I guess you could say. And also, Gronk has said, Amish got a tissue for me. Yeah, the game didn't quite go the way that New Zealand would have been after. But the good news is now the third match means so much more to both of these sides. And the same can be said with the English versus Australia series. That's going to be awesome. See who does take out that one. But currently just drawing the ball here, Ryan Elias. And the North only won one World Cup as far as I know. But I tell things are changing, says Peter Lowe. Yeah, we are slowly seeing that gap bridge between the two hemispheres, and depends on the ref's interpretation, says Fluffier there. And also a bit weak from Fussy there. Mapimpi would have stayed in, says Gareth there. And also, I tell you a story, says Peter. And also, you really do. Are you really good at this job? Did you play rugby, or is it just like a religion for you, says Craig? I haven't played it recently. The last time I played it was about 10 years old. And I spent all my time out on the wing, never touched the ball because we had a very greedy fly half and a very greedy halfback. So whole season passed, I touched the ball twice, and I was like, I'm turning up, I'm doing all the training, and I don't get the ball because one of those two was the coach's son. So he was like, boys, like 9 and 10, you just keep running it. Don't worry about the rest of the team. You keep running it. We're going to win these games, even though we lost a majority of them. But at the end of the day, just took a love for the rugby game and just keep on going. Loss is the only way to get rid of Fozzie. And also, did you get the green fuzzy screen, says Rio Game? I certainly did. It just went a bit weird for myself there. But even Etzebeth actually getting a little finger on that ball, which might count as a knock-on against the Springboks. And I did see his Novmum there. Yeah, hopefully it doesn't cut out. And also we have got there one guy dancing around 15 guys trying to tackle him, says JJ Forrey. That kind of sounds like Cheslin and Colby at the World Cup final. A little bit sorry, anyone from England. That's probably still a little bit too soon, but he did wonders down that wing, didn't he? And that's a flanker beard, Amish. If you decide to take up rugby again, you should be a loose forward, says Sebastian. I mean, I'll try my best to get a bit bigger because I feel like I can only play really halfback or wing at the moment. I don't really have that size to be a flanker. But Evan Ross Now breaking off the back. He's always dangerous, always running hard with the ball. Jaden Henriksen, pop pass up now. And better stiff to Toy getting Druin backwards. I really hope that man gets out of this game without an injury. And also, I could have been All Black if I wasn't for a knee injury, says Floyd Kingy. And also, we used to play barefoot in the winter because before first class in primary school, says Peter Lowe there. I remember playing on a frosted field, and there was actually a mouse that was stuck to the field who had frozen to it, which is how you knew it was kind of a bit chilly. Robert Evan Ross, once again, it actually snowed that day as well, just to make it a bit worse. So it was pretty much, if you went off the field, you were in a blanket because they were trying to stop you from getting hypothermia. Now, Henry Pollard passes off across to Jesse Creel. Still another advantage there for the Springboks. Jaden Henriksen. Now, Henry Pollard almost gone through 10 metres out from the line. I think he's dropped that ball on the ground, though. But the referee has said play on. Note now he has said that it was a little knock on. So it is going back for the penalty. Only sport Hamish is going to play is professional Fanta drinking, says Gareth there. Although I've been pretty slack with my professional Fanta drinking because I haven't actually had a Fanta. I think I've had one Fanta in the last 3 months, which is insane. I do agree that all the University teams are really in great shape with the World Cup around the corner. It's going to be interesting, says Stefan. It certainly is. And also, we have got the Horsfrost in Dunstan. The Horsfrost in Dunstan, says Twuffer. Wow. The crowd are certainly loud for this game. 46,000. And also, you took an arrow to the knee, says Gareth there. Damn bigger. Okay, just having a bit more of a chat for Wales here. They need to make sure that that discipline is on point or else they will get themselves into quite a bit of trouble. I would think. I can spell. We can't type, says Peter Lowe. That's the thing. Like my typing on a keyboard, like I'm all right on my phone because it's a mini one. So you just kind of, you get used to going like that. Like I'm not very good at thumb wars though, which is intriguing because like, you know, you can't really thumb war yourself, of course, but I always like find that typing on a phone is easier than a keyboard. Like I used to have for my iPad a little attachable keyboard, which seemed to go all right. But now South Africa kicking it for the corner here. They are only about 5 meters out from the line as it starts to get dark. And Bloemfontein, Joseph de Weber, now with an important line out. I see a couple paramedics walking around the outside of the ground. Hopefully that's not for anything serious. We haven't seen any injuries as of yet in this game. And knees and elbows, says Peter Lowe. And their head, shoulder, knees, and toes, perhaps. And by the way, you might hear from Blaze soon. He is very excited with the international rugby and considering starting up the podcast again, says Sebastian. I did actually hear from him a little bit earlier on. And then he was going to be doing Wales and South Africa. That's not straight from Joseph de Weber. That's pretty unfortunate, or the way that one has gone. But yeah, I did hear from him very briefly. And then he did say he was going to bed. So that was about all I had. And also, death by 1,000 cuts, says Fluffy, and also we used to play barefoot until high school, says Gareth there. Now, Joseph de Weber. Unfortunately, I feel like that is because we jinxed him a bit, Gareth. I think I'm not impressed at all with all the Twinkle Toes and de Weber telegraphing his tackles, says RJJ there. Now, scrum feed for Wales, 25 minutes through this contest. That says 29, but we're 25 through. Someone's really got a bit of a frog in the throat. Need someone in the commentary box just coughing up a lung. Hopefully they're going to be all right. Also, we got their testicles, spectacles, and wallet. And we used to play tackle on concrete at school, says Floyd Kingy. That's probably why your knees are buggered, Floyd Kingy, maybe. Rather than playing on something soft and wait for marks. Best number 2, says JJ Forrey there as well. But now Kieran Hardy, about to feed it in a time gap. It was big between England and the Springboks games. Tough staying awake during that period. Says Sebastian, but that one is going to be a free kick now. In fact, it might have actually become a penalty in favour of Wales. So that is a mistake that they did not want. Well, the Springboks keep that pressure on. Dan Bigger kicks it downfield. Nicely done, getting it out. And also played on concrete in prison. It's called Crash. And then says Kipkeronka and also Burn Ball, says Peter Lowe. See, we actually had it was a swimming pool, but it was filled up with sand. So it wasn't a swimming pool. It was just a large plot of sand pit, if you will. But we used to play like Bull Rush on there. But around it was concrete. So every once in a while, someone would well and truly mess up and decide to try and run down the wing and just get hit onto the concrete, which was a risky tactic. Also, this is because I talked Weber up. I think it is, Gareth. But the good news is he might score a try later on, and that might be able to fix it a little bit for him. Now they have been told to use it. Joseph Weber at the backhand and onto that ball now. Gives it off to Hendricks, the first receiver. And Andre Esterhuizen always makes meters for the Quins and will continue to make meters for the Springboks if he is selected repeatedly. Now Jesse Creel tries to go through. Doesn't find the offload. So someone mentioned earlier on, will we see Jesse Creel start to pass the ball in this contest? And the question is still yet to be answered. Andre Pollard, nice run up to 25 meters out now. Oh, good low tackle. Brilliant low tackle from Adam Beard. Cutting him down like he's some sort of tree. And he did have the axe in his arms. Interesting analogy there. But now Trevor Nakanya trying to line up. Dan Bigger has been able to drag him down. South Africa is a wonderful country, isn't it? Says they are certainly brilliant when it comes to sport. Now kicked him behind. And it does go into touch. So about 5 meters out from their own line here, Wales will have the line out throw. And Best Ruggers was playing in the river knee high on the sandbank, says Zach Evans there. Sure, it wasn't Billy Sandbox. Says it was Sebastian there. Now, well, bit bigger than little one. I know that we used to play beach volleyball on there. Does anyone play beach volleyball, I said? But beach volleyball, and realised how tender that part of your hand is when you haven't, like, smacked a ball. Like, you don't realise it until you start smacking a ball around a bit. Like, I love the spike because you hit it with the part of your hand that was a bit harder. I think the ref was doing well, says Rio Gamer there. And also we have got their Drunken Trade box. Now, nice work from Wales. No, they didn't get it out of there. So that will become now a scrum feed for the Springboks. Only sitting about 10 meters out from the line. We used to play a shibobu. If the ball went through your legs, you had to run and touch a pole. In the meantime, everyone could kick it or punch you. I see. It's a fun game. And also, Jesse doesn't let go of the ball. He's hanging around. And also, I don't play beach volleyball, but I watch the ladies play strictly for educational reasons. It's just to learn the rules and whatnot, of course. Is it at the Commonwealth Games? And also never passes. Says Anger out there and come on, Wales, says Tristan. Yeah, currently still a very close game between these two sides. If Wales can manage to score the next points on the board, that would certainly be a huge factor for them. Now, Ivan Ross, currently top performers for game line success. He is at the top with 5. Andre Estes and Jesse Creel Warrickland and Alex Cuthbert, who has gone off the field, unfortunately. He will not be returning for the rest of this match, I don't believe. And also the box best scrum team in the world. Let's go, champs. Says JJ Forrey and also Jesse. And there as well says it was Gareth and also Jesse not passing because he's very fussy, says RJJ. What we are going to do is we're going to stay hydrated just to make sure that my voice doesn't disappear on this live stream, because if it did, that would be unfortunate because we've still got one more a little bit later on tonight. It's a very nice push from the Springboks. Evan Roos gets it off the back, 5 meters out now from the line. That is brilliantly done by Ryan Elias, and that is a costly turnover for Wales. It looks like they will just be firing it back into the pocket to Bigger. Does give it a good strike of the ball, relieving some of the pressure, but the Springboks are right there inside of the Welsh 22, and also, yes, it's in the Commonwealth Games events. Nickers says it was Sebastian there as well, and also this might be an arm wrestle for most of the game, and also I prefer the common Wales to the posh Wales, says Fluffy, and also Sebastian Shaw and Ball Rush at primary school. Save one guy, nobody likes to last. Or save one guy, nobody likes to last, and everyone beat the crap out of him. Here's Floyd. Although I always found with Ball Rush, because I wasn't the biggest kid out there, I always had the guys who I was like, I know I can tackle them, so I'll just always tackle them. So they probably got sick of me going for them, but they were like the easier option. Joseph Weber gets that one straight enough. All Wales in common. Well, our common, the English style, our posh boys. So here's Jim Davis there. Or is it Davies? Davies or Davis? Do let me know, Jeff. But now, Joseph Weber sitting at the back for the rolling maul. That has gone down brilliantly done by Wales to shut it off. And now Andre Esterhuizen with some good handling. He did take it in one hand, still trying to drive, even though one of his legs were on the ground. Hendricksa goes off to Marcel Kurtzia. So currently 31 minutes through, and it's still 3-3 Wales win the penalty again. I got concussed playing Ball Rush, and also we're going to go SA. Says Elton there as well. Now, I should mention, once again, if Wales end up winning this game, I've got my facial hair other than the mustache on the line. So we did have it last week, as I was convinced that that would be a good idea. So I'm curious to see how it goes as Ball Rush like Red Rover. Pretty much it is everyone stands at one end except for one person, and then if you get tackled, you have to join up with that person tackling. And then, like, kind of, they keep on going end-to-end type thing. We've entered AFL at school, makes a Ball Rush and force them back. Now, HIA, Steve Fluffier Goisay says Elton there as well. But Wayne Pavaki will be very impressed with how Wales are playing throughout the early stages of this contest. 126 likes. Well done, guys. If you are new to the channel, subscribe and smash that like button, says BTV. Yeah, if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We have got plenty more coming in the near future, including Argentina versus Scotland a little bit later on in the day. It will be the last game that we are covering on the channel for today. Adam Beard's just getting a nice firm handshake from a man, but that is because he's testing out the wrist. And Eamon Netzebev, South African lock, he is down at the moment. 99 international appearances. Next week, he should be able to bring up the 100th. And also, this game is going nowhere fast. Says hang around and did you play marbles? Only at the museum was the last time I did play marbles. It's actually not a bad game overall, though. It's quite fun because it involves balls or marbles. And dump ball rush, says clear there. At the moment, they are just showing a couple nice signs in the crowd for the Springboks. Those men have painted their chest, and luckily they've got the order the right way around. I know that at the final of Super Rugby, they had the blues round the wrong way for the lettering of the flags, which was a bit of a fail there. And I play marbles and ball rush. There's Cooper Cronk there. Evan Metzebev looks like he will be able to continue this fixture. South Africa now will be trying to get this ball back. Evan Roos, I think he's actually bleeding quite profusely at the moment. I think it's from the nose for Evan Roos, but it is his first international cap. He certainly won't want to go off for a blood bin now, that is for sure. Playing marbles while ball rushing, curling. Says Fluffy, I have actually played curling once, like proper curling on the ice and whatnot, and it was actually for a school trip. And Springboks is nicknamed, of South Africa in rugby, Amish, or is Australia's nickname? So Australia's nickname is the Wallabies, New Zealand's nickname the All Blacks, Argentina's nickname the Pumas. Wales, what are Wales' nickname? I can't think of it. Do let me know, ladies and gentlemen. What is Wales? I know that there's something in Welsh that I can't quite think of. And also, no, not that curling, says Fluffy, although that curling is quite fun. I found it also, we had a game of 100 marbles up once. I went over the bell and kept playing, says Rio Gamer. And also Dragons, says Floyd there. Says JJ Forrey, and also the Scruffy. Is it the Scruffy Dragons or is it just the Dragons? And if Wales win by 16 or more, South Africa will drop to 4th, says Novmum there. So I don't see that happening, but does that mean New Zealand would go above South Africa if that did take place? That is crazy how quickly the world rankings are going to be changing this week. But now, trying to get the rolling maul going once again. Peter Steffetoy, he almost looks like he's getting carried above the Welsh players. They've gone about 20 metres so far, and that ball looks like it's once again going to be available now. They do have to release it there for South Africa. If he doesn't, it is going to end up with the penalty going the way of Wales. Now Kieran Hardy will play a halfback. And also Welsh Dragon, says Marika Bell there. So England are the... What are England? The Red Roses, I think it is, isn't it? And then Scotland... What is Scotland's name? Oh, Upper Lily Fussy takes the mark inside of his 22. I know that the Brave Blossoms are Japan. Who else are we missing? France. Don't know what France are. And also anyone else. I used to use the road to sharpen your studs, says Gareth there. And also we the Welsh Dragons. And also, well, 100 up, gents, says Fluffy there. And also the Brave, says it was Floyd Kingy. And the Rare Roses, says Sebastian. And there as well. So is it the Brave? So Scotland the Brave, is it? Who else are we missing? Missing France and Italy. And Les Bleus. Yep, Les Bleus is the French one. What about Italy? What have Italy got? And when I was 7, a classmate died in a car accident, but he cheated me at marbles, so I felt nothing, says RJJ. And also French are the Coqs. Les Coqs Français. Says Sebastian. Now nice backline movement. Kicked him high from Liam Williams. It just bounces in the field of play. And now South Africa will have themselves the line out. Azuri, says Silver Shadow there. Are there any other teams that we're missing? Fiji. I mean, I just think of Tosoviti when I think of Fiji and Red Pansies, said Edward James there. Liam Williams currently 34 minutes in, and it is still 3-3 between these two sides. It is certainly close. Neither side willing to let the opposition get the better of it. And Marcel Kutze now being dragged down on his team's 22. Springboks will look to clear this one downfield, and also Ireland. Ireland, oh. What are Ireland's nickname? Do they have a nickname? What is Ireland's nickname? The Green Machine? No, not the Green Machine. It's Manu. And there, the Flying Fijians, says Sebastian there. Oh, and also we have got there Hamish, brother, you are a legend. Stream the ABs versus Ireland game as well as Australia versus England. It's 3:47 Sunday morning in New Zealand. And here you are still streaming. Thank you, brother, says Booty V. No worries at all. And before that, we had 2 games of Pacific Nations Cup rugby that we did cover on the channel. But it's always entertaining international rugby. You don't get it too often. And England are the 3 Lions, aren't they? Says it was Edward James and also no Gareth. But the Red Rose is still there. Says Sebastian, nicely done there from Wales. Now it's going to be Liam Williams. Kicks it in behind. And it looks like it's going to be a little bit of a foot race. I believe that one just went into touch on the 22. And now 35 minutes. And it's just a battle at the moment. There's grubbers. There's little chip kicks. Neither side willing to be the side that allows the opposition to score the first try. 3 Lions are the cricket and football teams. He would see Sebastian there. And also Drew Legend says Booty V. And there's, oh yeah, can't think of a better way to spend my Saturday and Sunday morning than doing some rugby commentary with you guys. I can't believe we're almost at halftime in this contest, and it is still 3-3. Thought there would have been a try by now, but both of these sides just very evenly matched in the early stages. Marcel Kurtzia dragged down by Ryan Elias, and also, there we go, Sebastian, my big mistake. Here's Edward there now. Jaden Hendricks about to put up another box kick. Just get some nice height on that one, Jaden Hendricks, and that one goes into touch. Not getting as much distance on it as he would have liked, but still 40 metres out from the South African line. Wales will have themselves the line out. There's a lot of repetition happening in this game. It seems to be a little bit of an attack, a grubber, and then the opposition gets the line out. They get it inside of their 22. They kick it into touch, and then we're back to halfway, and then we see another grubber. And also we have got there, apparently Ireland do not have a nickname they commonly use. Says Claire there. I was thinking, I can't think of one off the top of my head. Even an uncommon one that like they don't really use too often. Like Ireland, I think it's just Ireland. You know, they just chant Ireland. And it's effective. And also low hooker on the wings, says Rio Gamer. And also Welsh have done well. I hope they can keep it. It's going to be stolen there now. Joseph Weber starts to bulldoze his way down the wing. Oh, he's just tried to go straight over Dan Bigger, who wouldn't have enjoyed it too much. The ball was out though, and Bigger able to intercept it. But he has been driven backwards by Jesse Creel. Almost hit his head on the chili bin there. That one's gone into touch. Clover as well, says Floyd Kingy there. And Shamrock sort of, says Claire there. And also Spuds, says Fluffy. I don't know whether or not they go by Spuds. Or in Italian, we use Trifogli for Ireland, meaning Shamrocks, says Silver Shadow there. There you go. I guess that's the thing. I love these live streams, not just for the rugby, not just for the chat, but also because we learn so much throughout the time as well. And Arensa is playing his heart out, as I said, Bertie V. Yeah, he's trying to work his way into the side for a few more matches in the future. When you're competing with Chisel and Colby on that right wing, never going to be easy, but he is certainly doing not too badly for himself in the early stages of this contest. 37.5 minutes through. There's going to be a rough throw from South Africa, but luckily for them, it's bounced up on Marcel Kurtzer. Has now been dragged down 30 metres out from the line. Trevor Nakanye. And South Africa would even take an advantage here if they can get it. Jaden Hendricks off to Evan Roas now. Back to Hendricks. Oh, it's knocked on by Andre Estes and a mistake. And now it's kicked downfield. I believe it was actually Tommy Reffel who did kick that one downfield. It's gone out on the full, and I believe they will be going back to war. Yeah, they will be going back for the knock-on. Also, Glia Aziri. And also, see, that's the thing. I don't really know too much about Italy. All I know is they are playing Georgia a little bit later on tonight, which should be an exciting contest. But anyone else who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Like I mentioned, we have got plenty more international rugby coming in the future, including the match a little bit later on between the Pumas and Scotland. Should be an entertaining clash. And we'll have to wait and see exactly how it does end up going. But do let me know your score predictions for this game. Now that we are 3-3 in the early stages of this contest, do you feel there is a late tail of the tape that is going to be making its way, possibly, a couple tries in a row? I think the bomb squad is certainly going to be an impact side of things for the Springboks, but it's whether or not Wales can keep close enough in this contest to be able to kind of isolate the bench of the Springboks as well. But Dylan Lewis, it looks like he's going to be all right. And also House of Lannister, more like, says Fluffy there. And 3 Lions is the cricket and soccer team. They use the plantation symbol, whereas they use the ruby, use the Lancaster. Hopefully I've said that correctly. And also stand by Wales 10, says Rio Gamer there. So a bold call, but at the moment anything could happen. And yes, but Azeri are the nicknames for Italian national teams in any sport. And thanks for defining info, good one. says Edward there. And being a Welshman, I cannot tell you what we call the English, says Jeff. Yeah, there's quite the rivalry in there. Like the Six Nations, it can get slightly feral at times. I did experience it firsthand when I did end up doing the Six Nations for a more recent, like, kind of competition. And yeah, there's some big old rivalries in there, isn't there? And Wales will start hunting after the first 40, a couple of big guys up front. So here's Zach Evans as well. But now with 1 minute left, Kieran Hardy about to feed this ball in. We've just seen many mistakes from both of these sides. That was a good early push from Wales. And I believe because of it, they should be able to get this ball out. Talupe Faletau doing nicely. Now passes off to Liam Williams. Balling outside. Brilliant hands from Lewis Rees-Seven, who tried to find the offload. It was risky. And now Evan Ruas is close to the touchline. It looks like there might have been a double blow on the whistle. Evan Ruas thinks he's going to score the try. His teammates telling him to score it. But it is not going to be the try. They are going back. The Red Rose was a badge of the House of Lancaster. Currently the symbol of Lancashire. Or Lancashire. In case anybody didn't know. And thanks, guys. Says it, Jeff, there. And also is those other guys. Or it's those other guys, says Peter Lowe. Oh, interesting comment from Wayne Barnes there. He said there was a little bit of a knock on there in the tackle. Bad luck for Evan Ruas. I feel like he felt genuinely bad that Evan Ruas wasn't able to score the try on debut, but now it is a scrum feed here. And that is the siren sounding at the ground as well. So very close to halftime. And also William Wallace says at WTF. Says Peter Lowe there as well. But the scrum feed will be going the way of Wales. Would they consider kicking this ball out and making it 3-3 at halftime? The meters made 150 extra running meters for South Africa in this match. And also, you get no try, you get no try. No one gets any try, says Nov Mum. As well, they have put that ball in. It's going to be bouncing out. The back penalty to Wales. That is a massive time to get one. Do they consider just tapping and kicking it out, or do they kick it downfield, go, Bok, go? And we knock on, unlucky mate. Says it was Sebastian there in Wales. The Dragons and Islanders and Scotland don't have one. Says Cooper Cronk, and also true apparently, but they are like New Zealand with black everything. And the team name says Claire, and also we have got big scrum to come in there, says Zach. Okay, they take the tap and they do kick it into touch. They're not willing to risk it, and at halftime, 3-3 between these two sides. And also, where's the bomb squad coming on? I would think very early on in the second half. Pass and go bot goal. Says Alter there as well. But nicely done overall from Wales to keep the Springboks to just the 3 points. Nicely done by the Springboks to keep Wales to just 3 points. And this game can easily go either way. And next on our Scotland, not the Thistles. There is something to do with Thistles, isn't there? For Scotland, I believe. But that is now going to be halftime in this contest. 3-3 between the two sides. What we will very quickly do while we are at it, seeing as we're at halftime, I am going to go like this and like this. And what I might very, very quickly do, ladies and gentlemen, is I'm just going to pop off to the side, check to see if the fire is still going, because I did light it a little bit earlier on. So I'll be back in literally, like, I'd say half a minute or so. I'm just going to look and see whether or not the fire is still going. But I will be back in a very short moment. Okay, the fire is not still going. It has gone out, unfortunately, so it will be a bit chillier for the rest of the live stream. And also, we've got to wait. The block is going to take this one. And then, yes, the Scots are a prickly lot, Gareth. And this is Edward, and also South Africa and Argentina to carry the Southern Hemisphere, says Junior Ryder. And yeah, it's going to be tricky. Although we thought that England and All Blacks games were low scoring, says Sebastian for that one. And also Italy, the Azure. And 10 seconds, says Rio Gamer. I felt like it was pretty quick, wasn't it? Popped in, popped out. And now we are back for a little bit of halftime entertainment, and also nice mute. Says Craig there, yeah. It's one of those ones that I would rather mute so you guys don't hear me blow on my nose than, like, hearing me blow it. Like, I feel like it's just one of those ones with the microphone being right there as well. It would suck. All right, and also, how cold is it there? That you need a fire, brother, says Betty V. So currently we are sitting 3 degrees Celsius. So it's a bit chilly at the moment. But yeah, the fire has pretty much gone out. New Zealand have so many talented players, but the coaches aren't using them properly, says and also we have got there South Island. Gets bloody cold in winter, says Claire there. And yeah, exactly where I am. And also fire, what fire? I am in a brine, my brew, says Peter Lowe. Not quite, although it would be a decent one. Stick a little bit of meat on it. I think I got some meat coming in the mail, which sounds like a really weird statement, but like online groceries, I should mention, is what is going to be arriving, and a little bit of meat available, so maybe a braai could be on the cards. And also we have got the no fire of civilization. You actually let civilization go out, mate, as well, says Sebastian. And all good bro jokes, says Duzzy Williams, and ouch, says Bertie V there, and Bloemfontein. Very cold, I know, my hometown, says Alta, and that's why they have furry feet, says Fluffy. And also the further down you go, the colder it gets. So yeah, I'm about halfway down the South Island, maybe a little bit further south, and had a debate with my mate about who was better, Lalicio or Intermac. I told him Intermac was the better player. Who do you think is better? Intermac, 100%. No, Lalicio, he's got the potential, but he is still very young in his career. Intermac, though, it seems like he's been around a little bit longer, and he's looked pretty impressive throughout that time as well. And also there isn't much between the top teams. No one is dominating, says Floyd Kingy. And I think that is the best way for it to be, for every game to be one that we have to watch closely and think who is actually going to be able to take this one out, rather than going into a game with people thinking, right, this is going to be a 30-point hiding to one team. Instead, now we just get ourselves closer and closer. And at these contests as well, I thought you were in Auckland, says Rio Gamer. Nah, a lot further south, and also you suck. Don't ever come here. And there says Peter Lowe for that one. And also we have got there go. Huguenot, says Cadal, sorry. And also we have got there, I fitted a Kemp wood burner in my house when I lived in New Zealand. Fantastic bit of kit, says Edward James. And also Angus Gardner doing Agnes Gardner things at average YouTube user. Has there, and you let the fire die. So, says Peter Lowe, to be fair, if I wasn't live streaming, the fire would still be going. That's all I'm going to say. I am willing to sacrifice the fire if it means that I do get to do these live streams for you guys. Does it snow where you are? Not really. We are just above sea level, so we don't really get to have too much, I guess, too much snow settling. It would be like once every 10 years or 5 years, we might get snow to set. And also we've got plenty of snow in Caroline Bay, says Fluffy there. And also New Zealand versus Ireland, more exciting, says Kian there. And okay, thanks, Gareth. I was half correct, says Edward. And also no Welsh mum really like Gareth Edwards. A dad from Dundee and mum from York. And then 3 degrees ain't that cold, though. I know I live by different standards here, but it really isn't that bad. Says Sebastian, yeah, it's manageable. At that stage, like it's when you get into like -1 or so that you start to feel a little bit more of that kind of, little bit more of that chill. These are the benches for the match. Josh Adams actually already having to make his way out onto the field. That was due to the injury of Alex Cuthbert. I believe he is the only sub that either side have made at this point in time, but I wouldn't be surprised if we do get to see maybe a little bit more of a couple of these guys at the very start of the second half. And New Zealand, houses in New Zealand are not exactly well insulated. Yeah, like that's the thing. This is actually the last room that hasn't got new windows yet. So rather than having double glazing, we've literally got windows that are probably about that thick. So like you pretty much feel the chill just from there. And it's bloody hot here in northern eastern Italy, says Silver Shadow. May I borrow some temperature, Silver Shadow, if you don't mind? And I've lived in New Zealand all my life in Auckland and never seen snow. And then also Super Mammy Academy. Almost like this is how South Africa versus Wales has always been. Obviously, New Zealand versus Ireland is going to be more exciting, says average YouTube user there as well. And your rep just suffered a -1, says Peter Lowe. And also we've got that South Africa's game is more suited for the Northern Hemisphere. They play the same game, says Junior Ryder. And also Olivier. And some part of South Africa, there will be load shedding now. That sucks that there would be there. And only the South Island gets snow, says Cooper Cronk. Yeah, so I've probably seen snow about 4 times that's actually set well enough, maybe even 3. And also South Africa, the better team in the first half. I camped in our half, and apart from a few cross kicks, we didn't really look like there were any problems or like we were causing any problems. BF is a nuisance, great half for him. And there as well, says Thick Boy. And also bring back your men in black suit for the third test, Ireland versus New Zealand. It will certainly be coming back because I always wear it for the big match feels, and that one has got a massive big match feel. And Silver Shadow sent me some summer to South Africa as winter cold, says Alta there. And also we have got that Howdy Hamish. I've got load shedding now, so hopefully it does end up clearing away for you. How long does load shedding normally take? It's a couple hours, isn't it? And also Unlia said the score, it is 3-3 between these two sides. An unforgivable sin, says Peter Lowe there. And also I live in Kawarau, and only one time ever some small snowflakes in the year. And also no lack of shouting at Rassi, get Hond, says it was Gareth there. And what are your thoughts on the first starts, Kiwi lad? Very even between them. South Africa, they'll feel unlucky not to have got any more points on the boards. Both kickers missing one kick with Bigger and Hondre Pollard But a big thing, okay, an ex-South African player is getting, I guess, the opportunity to speak into the mic, is saying he would rather see the referee wait a little bit longer before giving a penalty. And I think that is because he may have felt that the Springboks had one or two chances in that first half. And also we have got there, hello, says Alta there. And also I was falling asleep during the first half, says Carl. And also Kiwarau is forestry and mill. Quite a bit of industrial, says Rio Gamer there in the chat. But I should mention anyone who won't be falling asleep in the next kind of 3 or 4 hours. We have got another matchup that we are doing a little bit later on in the day, and that is going to be the match taking place between Argentina and Scotland. But if you want to try not to fall asleep, we'll whip out the guitar. We'll see if we can play some funky tunes for you lovely ladies and gentlemen. Even though I only know like 3 songs, I need to work on that. I do want to play the South African national anthem at the World Cup, though. I feel like that would be pretty awesome to be able to pick along to it, but I don't know it yet. Sadly, I only know. Which isn't quite the South African national anthem, although it certainly would fire up those South African boys. And also Shred It, says Fluffy. And also, do you actually live in Durban, Gareth? And thanks, Rio, thought so. And also Wales defence doing well. They're pushing the boundaries with offside and cutting off the front foot. Gain line success for South Africa. And also, there you go, Plaster Tune Brother, says Birdie V. What else do I know? I think that's all I know, really. And also, you need to get laid, bro, says Peter Lowe. Cheers. All I will say is if you do 20 hours of live streams on a weekend, you ain't going out doing much partying. You know? I think you've turned on me, Peter, since I let the fire go out, haven't you? And also, we're going to well work in Rotuma, Whakatane, Kiwarau, and I just know nothing. Just a no, says Sebastian there. And also, we have got there is a difference between playing well between World Cups and playing well during World Cups, says Hanger Rat there. And also, we have got there, I know nothing, I just didn't know. And there as well for if Gareth is in Durban. But currently, the second half won't be too far away from getting underway. I hope that we see at least a few tries in this contest. And most teams are peaking now, rather peak next year. I hope the AB's time there run perfectly, says Junior Ryder. And also, we have got there's no off-season for the Kiwi lads, says Carl Peterson. Exactly right. Like, any time that the rugby finishes, we've got cricket starting back up. Or if one competition finishes for rugby, another one starts up the week after. So, yeah, Rugby Championship is our next big competition we are covering after the internationals, although we've actually got the Commonwealth Games beforehand and a couple more Sevens fixtures. And then the Sevens World Cup is going to be coming up. The Rugby League World Cup, FIFA World Cup, Women's Rugby World Cup. There is plenty on in the near future, that is for sure. And also, Amy says an invisible guitar, says Rio Gamer. I do indeed. And it does hide very well. And for some reason, I don't know, because it's yellow. So I wouldn't have thought it would kind of do too badly. And also, won't matter if Fozzie is still there. So here's Cooper Cronk in the chat as well. And also, there's a difference between playing with your dick and getting laid. I mean, I was playing with a pick before for the guitar. And there's us, says Peter Lowe. I said that, not Peter Lowe. And the Rugby Championship, also known as the Suit Championship, says Sebastian. Yeah, there will certainly be plenty of well-ironed suits for that one. Also, ABs need a new coach, says 11 Only Love. And also, we are going to think RA were bluffing when they said they're walking away from Super Rugby Pacific after next season. Don't know. I feel like it's one of those ones that if they walk away, it's probably going to do them more harm than good. But at the end of the day, it is up to them. And we'll have to wait and see how it ends up going. And Foster will be swimming with the Flounders, says Fluffy. And also, we have got there, you didn't born in Pietermaritzburg. I grew up in Cape Town, spent time in Port Elizabeth and Bloemfontein, and now live in Durban, says Gareth there. And in front of 46,000 people at this ground, it's certainly going to be an atmosphere in the second half at Bloemfontein. I am thoroughly looking forward to seeing these two sides go out. Give it the 110% early on, see who is able to get that big breakthrough, because at the end of the day, it's been a pretty big stalemate between the two sides for the first half. Both sides missing one kick, and then currently just 3 points on the board for either of these sides. I was hoping to add a first half try scorer down below, and also Gareth next try, Pretoria. And the other says 11 Only Love And yeah, but do let me know who you think will be scoring the first try of the second half, ladies and gentlemen, as it is just about to get back underway, probably in about 3 minutes' time or so. And also, just Yankee, your J-mate, you're a star, says Peter Lowe there. So you've forgiven me for putting the fire out? It might almost have a bit of life. Or not. I looked over hoping to see some little flames because I left the door slightly open, or like kind of letting the air a little bit further in. So I was hoping to see a couple little bursts, and it's just dark in there. There's not much going on. Also, nice. Have you always supported the Sharks? Have you had Stormers and Cheetahs periods as you were living in their respective locations? And also, Bloemfontein, great to play rugby, says Alta. And also, do Sam Cane is the right man to captain the ABs? I don't know if he's the right man to captain them, but he still plays all right, Sam Cane. It's just whether or not, if he wasn't captain, whether he would still get selected is probably the big question for Sam Cane. But someone actually asked me what my ideal loose forward trio would be, and I think I went Akira Ioane, Dalton Papali, and Adi Savia as my 6, 7, 8, or maybe Ethan Blackadder slotting in there. I rate Sam Cane when he's match ready. He should have waited till next season. So here's a Rio Gamer there as well. Yeah, he did come back pretty early from his big injury and also shouldn't even be in the team. So here's Cooper Cronk there. Currently the Māori All Blacks, they are actually showing the highlights of their first match between the two sides, but that is going to be another match that does take place on Tuesday, 6:30 p.m, and we will be covering that one on the channel as well. And also seeing it's almost breakfast time for yourself. What's on the menu, says Birdie V. It's a good question because I was originally thinking of having some sort of thing with some bacon and eggs maybe, but George may end up coming around for Argentina versus Scotland, and if he comes around, we might even go out for breakfast somewhere, but that could end up being KFC or just somewhere random. And also here from Durban, just found your channel as well, says Neil, so welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing well. And we have got Sam Cane. Isn't the right man to captain? Maybe Whitelock, says Carl. And if it's not Whitelock, maybe Adi Savia would be a decent guy to keep an eye on as well. But Vincent Koch out there on the field for South Africa. We knew that would be probably a few changes in the early stages. Malcolm Marks also out there on the field. And I want to say that Thomas du Toit will be taken off the field, will he? Or if they left him out there. Okay, no, I think they've actually kept Thomas du Toit out there for a little bit longer before giving Machuno an opportunity. And also Artie should be captain. He's always consistent. Says 11 only love. And also go for the bacon and eggs. A lot better than KFC, says Sebastian there. And also sounds lekker. Says Betty V. And also very cool following. Says Neil there. And we have got plenty more coming up in the future. Like I mentioned, Argentina versus Scotland as the last game that we are going to be covering for today. And then alongside that, we have got plenty more coming up. On Tuesday, it is going to be the Māori All Blacks taking on New Zealand. Māori All Blacks taking on Ireland. And then on Wednesday, we are actually going to have State of Origin plus a couple of the women's games we might end up covering on the channel. And go for a Bri. Leave the KFC, says Alta there. And also personally think Whitelock should captain, says Lirio Gamer. And also I had I had bacon and eggs this morning, says Cooper Cronk. Black pudding and kippers, says Fluffy, and also Pollard for the first try of the game. That would be massive for him, but if he did get it, would be very impressive indeed. But the second half now underway. It's a decent clearance straight away from Wales, and now the line out, in fact, is going to be going the way of South Africa. But Thomas Williams out there on the field early for Kieran Hardy. So both sides deciding that the first half didn't quite go the way that they needed it to, and they want to try and find an early bit of momentum in the second half. And the early momentum could literally be the difference between a win and a loss for both of these teams. Currently, Northern Hemisphere sides, Ireland and England, both victorious over their Southern Hemisphere counterparts. Now, Wales want to try and continue that trend. South Africa will certainly have something to say about it. And my all-time Southern Hemisphere loose trio, Berger at 6, McCaw at 7, and George Smith at 8. So here's junior rider there. Now, Jaden Hendricks waiting for this ball. He is going to be passing it back across now into the hands of Andre Hesterhazen. And the thing is, we've seen quite a few drop balls throughout this match, including that man Hesterhazen who did put it down a little bit earlier on, and Māori All Blacks versus the Afrikaner Springboks. There's RJJ. That would be an awesome matchup if we did get to see it take place. And now, ball rolling back. And Jaden Hendricks puts it up. Now, Kurt Leorenza trying to line up that kick. Hasn't quite been able to get it. Eben Etzebeth got his hands on it. Thomas Williams passes it off now to Liam Williams. There's the advantage in favour of Wales. Thomas Williams now trying to link up. Nice ball on the inside to Dan Bigger. He's trying to use some quick stepping. Hasn't been able to make his way through. The altitude is a factor. Humidity is low. Says it was Neil Diesel. And then also Kiwis and Black Ferns for the World Cup in October. And also Jerry Collins says, Gareth, yeah, very decent chance for him. And also nice to see Guru back in action. Hopefully wrongful strikes won't repeat themselves, says Sebastian. Yeah, it is great to have him back on YouTube because I know he was very close to giving it up if YouTube kept on kind of messing him around. Like it took pretty much the full period of time before his copyright strike was removed, which is always rough. And also Gareth Ferguson, we've already have Berger there, Jerry off the bench. Says Junior Rider and fitness will be a factor for the last 15. It certainly will be. But now Jaden Hendricks passing it off to the right-hand side to Malcolm Marks. Back to Henry Pollard. Tries to go through, but he's going to be dragged down by Will Rowlands who gets straight over the ball. And that's the turnover no, it's not the turnover. South Africa have been able to get themselves the penalty there for the hands going down on Will Rowlands. Little early mistake, and it does mean that Henry Pollard could add 3 points to the board if he does get it right. Hands pass burst is the call from Angus Gardner. Dan Bigger's taking a bit of a knock on the elbow, or actually on the shoulder, sorry, by the looks of it, but did end up going down Will Rowlands. He gets back up to his feet. And the hands on the ground is what ended up stopping it from being the penalty in favour of Wales. Sorry about that. And also you always get picked, and while Fozzie is there, here's Cooper Cronk there. I say there a lot at this hour of the night. I've learned 5 penalties conceded against both of these sides, and the scrutiny at this level of rugby is insane. So here's Mike there. I said there again, didn't I? Currently 42.5 minutes through this contest. And it does seem like South Africa will be able to add an extra 3 points on the board, I would think, to get themselves a 3-point lead. Currently playing Come On Eileen at the ground as well. And it seems like quite the atmosphere, like I mentioned earlier on. 46,000, too much scrutiny if I went out, and now you're sneezing great. Says Sebastian there, Berger 6, Richie at 7, and Pocock at number 8. Says a Rio Gamer there as well. So, yeah, I might see whether or not there's any chance of revitalising the fire after 37 minutes of this matchup. But more than likely, I'll have to wait till the sun comes up, till it starts getting warm. Again, we've got the heat pump, though. Worst comes to worst if it gets cold. And also check every little thing, says Cooper Cronk. And also, you might have to go, bro, careful, eh? Says Mike. Although I do get quite bad hay fever at this time of the year. Like, normally, like, I had hay fever for a good, 2 or 3 months. So I think that is kind of what normally gets me around this time. Although it hasn't been too bad for the last few weeks. But 6-3 now in favour of South Africa. They take the lead early on in the second half. And now with 3 points difference, we are yet to see a try in Wales, proving a lot of people wrong. Says Jack Cooney. Exactly right. They've been really in these contests up against South Africa. But it's in the later stages of the match that normally end up changing the momentum a little bit. Nicely taken by Peter Steph-Toy. Lifted by Malcolm Marks. Jaden Hendricks gives it back across to Vincent Koch, plays for Saracens, who did make it all the way to the Gallagher Premiership. And the Premiership, or in the Gallagher Premiership, I should say. And also, did you hear what Peter O'Mahony said to Sam Cane? Not really, no. I know that it was probably quite a few words being exchanged in that, kind of little altercation that the two had. That's going to be knocked on there. Penalty to Wales. Okay. So now that could mean that Wales are able to take the 3 points straight back if they want it. And also, Boom Yarpies finally ahead. Says Mike, then also don't see the point of the Rugby League World Cup. It's pointless, says Junior Ryder. Yeah, as well. Right. What does Dan Bigger decide? They are going to once again take on the 3 points. So, Dan Bigger's shoulder looks like it's quite sore. His right shoulder, to keep an eye on that. And also, how do you stay so energetic during these marathon live streams, says Oliver. I'll be honest, I have no idea. to be frank, I don't know. Because at the end of the day, we started live streaming at 12 or somewhere around there. And now we are 16 hours later and we have still got plenty of energy. I'll probably end up being completely fine throughout Argentina versus Scotland as well. And then by about 1 p.m, I might start crashing a little bit. But for now, just feel wide awake. I think it's the rugby. The rugby just helps me go through. And also, don't forget it, your 6, our 6 is your 7. 6 Berger, 7 Collins. It's going to be kicked by Dan Bigger. It's missed. Once again out to the right-hand side for Dan Bigger. And also come on Wales. And also please take Hendricks off, damn it. Says it was there from Birdie V. And you're kidding. It's international rugby putting up their own side to see what they're made of, says Mike. And also come on the block, says Delana. Now 22 dropout. I think they were slightly ahead there. Angus Gardner was trying to signal a few of the men back to Lupe Falatau. Gives it off to Dan Bigger, who now puts up the ball high. Chased hard by the looks of it by Thomas Williams trying to line it up, and Pollard set him down as well. Something we don't see too often from Andre Pollard, is willing to take on the opposition line. But when it's a halfback at you, you're going to give it a half a crack. And also we've got there, Dan's aim is off tonight. Says Sebastian there. Yeah, he has missed 2 out of his 3 kicks attempted here, which can be very costly. And so please tell me your second favourite team is South Africa, says Peter Lowe. Is that to me or to everyone in general? Peter Lowe, do let me know now. Liam Williams tries to find the offload. It's gone back. And that is a little knock on the ground once again from Wales. Something that you can't afford to be doing up against the Springboks. What we will quickly do while we have got a little bit of a stoppage in play while they are getting the scrum organised, we will go like this. But unfortunately, George North ended up with a little bit of a mistake there. I think he actually ended up in front of Lewis Rees-Zammit. So when it bounced into him, that count as a little knock on. And also was Thomas du Toit's fault, says Hangarat. And also you, says Peter Lowe. I mean, I'll be honest, South Africa are one of those sides that I love watching play rugby. And I love the kind of respectful rivalry that them and New Zealand have. But it's always like, I sometimes even wonder if New Zealand are my favourite international team, purely because I'm so used to doing impartial commentary that I guess I kind of get used to supporting both sides no matter the match type thing, which can annoy some people. But that's going to be a penalty now in favour of Wales for the pre-engage in the front row of the Springboks. And also Gareth Ferguson, they're pretty much the same players, and they all play the same way. It's good to have a good mobile 7 in the enforcer at 6'8". Has to be a big ball player in Lucy. Sees Junior Ryder there. And also who you got, Argentina or Scotland? Argentina is going to be tough to beat in Argentina, but I think Scotland might be able to take out this one. Got Hamish Watson in the starting lineup. Argentina missing Nicolas Sanchez and also Pablo Matera. Either way, I think it's going to be very close and less than 5 points, or 5 to 7 points between the two sides. And Pumas by 7, they'll seal off the series tonight, says Sebastian. That is definitely a possibility. Maybe a trialist game, says Cooper Cronk. That is going back to the good old days of test match rugby when you didn't really get to see anyone scoring a huge amount of tries. Right, couple other changes being made now. Marcel Kutzer coming off the field, Thomas du Toit off, and Evan Ruas all coming off. So I see that it is going to be Renard Alstrat making his way out there. Ruan Nokia. In fact, no, Ruan Nokia might not be out there yet, but Dion Forrey is. So making his debut for the Springboks, become the oldest Springbok player. Man, that was some pace from George North there running onto the line. In fact, it was Liam Williams who gave it a good almighty crack. But Kutzer coming off the field. That was for Alfred, Forrey. Here's on the field for Evan Ruas. That's got to be the turnover for South Africa. And Malcolm Marks in the breakdown is a dangerous individual. He's just been poked in the eye by Vincent Koch, which you won't appreciate too much. And also, come on, people, hit that like button and subscribe to say thanks to Hamish. There's Russell Dodd there. And also, my top 3 is Los Pumas, Box and France, says Peter Lowe, for the 3 top sides as well. But now Will Rowland's just not quite able to release that ball quick enough. Pollard, oh, that's a shame from Lewis Rees-Zammit, because he did end up catching it in the field of play, but it bounced off his hands and went out anyway. Now, South Africa, 49 minutes into this game here. And this first 9 minutes of the second half has gone a lot quicker. And also a cock in the eye, says Fluffier there. I mean, it's something that a lot of people wouldn't enjoy, I have to say. But now it looks like a couple more changes being made. Dewey Lake, and also tit for tat sort of game. It certainly is. And no tries being scored as of yet. Maybe this one just around the corner. And also, who do you think you are, pal? Are you just a Richie McCord or Sam Cane? Oh, I see. I didn't actually know that was what he said, but I guess, stolen by Talupe Falatau. Or was it? I think he's accidentally given it back to Marvin Ori. And now the Springboks are once again going to have another attacking opportunity. How many Irish players do you think is the best in the world in their position? For me, it's 3 is Furlong, Porter, and Van der Fleur. Yeah, they're certainly all up there at the moment. And I mean, see, you'd have to argue that, like, a couple of those guys, like Robbie Henshaw's pretty solid, but it's whether or not he's the best number 12 in the world is probably the bigger question. That's going to be stolen there. No, it's an advantage. Oh, what's that for? That's going to be another penalty advantage for South Africa. Now going back to Andre Pollard, inside ball after Peter Steph du Toit over the ball nicely there for Wales, but not able to get the turnover. Now Andre Pollard went for the kick in behind. It's picked up by Dan Bigger, and they're going back for the penalty now. Jaden Hendricks are getting a little bit fired up after that one. And also, you reckon Skulk is a jackler. Jerry is a straight running tackler machine. And Rodney was Dwayne Vermeulen before it was cool. Oh, am I miserable? Or am I misremembering my idols, says Gareth. And also we have got Japan, my second favourite team, and a try inside 3 minutes away to the All Blacks is almost unheard of. Credible form from Ireland, says Jack. Yeah, it was an incredibly impressive start, just like they had in the first match. They are looking for 3 points here for South Africa, and that will be 2 early penalties given away by Wales in the second half. Okay, Ebenezer is down once again with another injury. I believe they have still got the option of Rohan Nokia if they need him in the later stages. But anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We have got plenty more videos coming up in the near future. And back again, well, very low-scoring game here. It certainly is. And didn't they do that in the first test, says Cooper Cronk? Oh, that one. Not quite in 3 minutes, but they had all of the attack in the early stages of that second test or the first test match as well. But Dion Forrey, coming the oldest Springbok on debut. Now, Andre Pollard about to get a crack. 51 minutes into this contest. We'll just be making sure that this one goes over. And if it does, we'll be a little bit closer. To be honest, the Northern sides are every bit as good as the Southern boys, says Peter Lowe. And like I mentioned, the gap seems to be closing more and more, which is absolutely great for rugby, because if it's always one-sided, like I feel like people lose interest a little bit. But if it's going back and forth like a seesaw, you never quite know who's going to get over the line. Am I right in saying Ireland go first in the world if New Zealand, or if Ireland win against New Zealand on Saturday and Wales win once against South Africa? Yeah, I think Wales certainly need to get the win over South Africa, though, for anything to really change drastically, because I think New Zealand are currently sitting in 4th, if I'm not wrong, on the world ranking. So, yeah, it's all down to South Africa and what they do. They would probably have to lose to Wales twice, though, for them to drop far enough. And to me, yes, we view it in a different way. Berger and Jerry, one of the same root and strength. And I think if Ireland win, they become number 1 regardless. Says Gareth, it is just outside of the 22, which does mean they won't be able to kick this one out on the full here for the Springboks. Jaden Hendrickse, he's had a pretty solid game throughout this matchup. He's had a decent running game alongside that box kicking style. But Ebenezer Barefoot's bounced back now to Andre Pollard. Sees the opportunity for the 50-22, and Lewis Rees-Sammett's going to have to chase back. It is Nick Tompkins instead, though, who does end up cleaning up that ball. Now tries to spin passes off to Lewis Rees-Sammet, almost charged down. But in the end, he gets a pretty decent boot on it for where they were now. Watergalant. Nice work from Tommy Reffel there, dragging down Watergalant, only about 35 metres out from the line. Jaden Hendrickse now once again gives it off to Ebenezer. He's at a solid 99th test match for himself and also. They've been saying the gap has been closing for 30 years. Says Fluffy there. And now Jesse Creel. Nice run to Luke Fillita. Oh, he was close to getting that one back. And we will see next week, says Gronk there. And who do you think was going to beat, or who is better between ABs and Māori ABs? I mean, we've seen some pretty good performances from the Māori ABs in the past, but you'd have to still go the All Blacks, just because Ireland, they do put out a completely different side to face off against the Māori All Blacks than we will see in that third test match at Sky Stadium. Now back across. Nice work here. Alfred now goes off. It's a nice seller dummy from Waterkrant. Gives it off now to Vincent Cock. Oh, that was a dirty take there. Unfortunately, I think it was actually Nick Tompkin got his ankles taken out from underneath him, but that is going to be the penalty for South Africa. So they are loving it at the moment. Penalty after penalty after penalty, and Wales won't win against a Tier 1 team, let alone a Southern Hemisphere team, until Pivak is gone. And Māori ABs at full strength, including the ABs. So here's Cooper Cronk there as well. But yeah, it looks like Nick Tompkin has stayed down for just a little bit longer. He did get pretty heavily slashed. Oh, okay. Andre Pollard's getting a bit of spray of some sort for the tongue. Not sure what that is. What would that do other than maybe numb your tongue? Or maybe it's some sort of like electrolyte spray that does just go into the back of your throat to try and keep you nice and like relaxed in the mouth hole. I don't know. What would it do? And also Wales. Oh no, I read that one. Oh, Pollard is my hero, is a sign there. And also Northern teams might be pinking a year out from the World Cup, apart from France or maybe England. I think Southern Hemisphere won the World Cup again. I'm also my favourite Northern back row, Richard Hill, Justin Tuperik, and Sebastian Chawal. They're at number 8, says Rob Allen. And also Dan SA starting to run hard as hell now. Says average YouTube user. Yeah, and the fact that they are getting so many, Dan Bigger's off the field now with an injury. That is huge for Wales, because that means that his kicking is going to be disappearing. Although the thing is, his kicking already wasn't the absolute best in the first stage. And also Henderson needs to be taken off. But a useless player, says Betty V. And there as well. But now, Andre Pollard, he will be able to take on the 3 points. And this will actually give South Africa a 9-point lead. And also wins the Rugby World Cup. It is in about 450 days' time. But we will be covering it on the channel as soon as it starts. So be sure, if you haven't already, be sure to stick around and hit that subscribe button because we have got plenty more coming, including Argentina versus Scotland a little bit later on in the day. And also relaxed in the mouthhole, says RJJ. And also the answer says Mason there. So, yeah, I hope you are doing well, mate. I also need the Tangata Whenua to play Māori ABs and the Test match series, says Nathan there. All right, Andre Pollard, if he gets this kick over, South Africa have a 9-point lead, and it's all come from just penalty after penalty, really, in the second half against Wales. They haven't been able to get out of their own half, similar to what we saw in the first half, although in the first half they were a lot more disciplined than we've seen in the last little while. Oh, Pollard shanked that. That one has gone way out to the side. Not what he would have liked. For me, I think South Africa have got 10 minutes here. 65 minutes is when they're going to unleash. So Wales in the next 10 minutes need to get as many points as they physically can, or else they're in trouble for the later stages. That is my prediction. I have to wait and see whether or not it's correct. But yeah, 10 minutes, 65 minutes gone is when we're going to get to see the Springboks really unleash for the last 15. Jaden Hendrickse going back into the pocket to Andre Pollard. Now off to, it was Andre Estes, and he has run hard at the line throughout this whole match. Jaden Hendrickse now goes back to Dion Forrey, tackled by Alan Wynne-Jones, and I have no idea how that man is still able to play rugby after all of the injuries he has succumbed to. The British and Irish Lions tour, he somehow came back from an injury that someone said, or everyone said, was going to have him out for the whole season. Now, taken beautifully by South Africa. They are really starting to get a majority of this position. Now, Andre Pollard gives it off. Rush defense there from Josh Adams, which opens up the gap on the outside. Now, Peter Steptoe running hard. Offload on the inside to Kurtley Arenza. He has got pace, I should say. Now that ball's bouncing out onto the side of Wales. Oh, and it's become another penalty for South Africa. Double blow of the whistle, and Alan Wynne-Jones, I think, is going to be going to the bin here. Is it a red? It's a yellow. Josh Adams is asking for it to go upstairs. It's cynical. Hands from number 19, Alan Wynne-Jones. He can't quite believe it. He's asking for the TMO, but he has to go off the field. And this is how the match ended last week as well. We saw so many yellows for them in such a short amount of time. But Alan Wynne-Jones wants them to go upstairs here. He doesn't want to get off the field. He's got a call, says Angus Gardner. And also last thing, Wales needed exactly right. And also Wales need to roll out Neil Jenkins. And the yellow says Birdie V there. Right. So what happens here for Alan Wynne-Jones? Now that's a pretty rough decision because he did not touch that ball, Alan Wynne-Jones. And now because of it, South Africa have got a man advantage for the second half for something that probably wouldn't have even become a penalty at this stage. But now Malcolm Marx starts to drive. This is where the Springboks are dangerous. It's been dragged down, and it's another advantage in favour of the Springboks. Jaden Hendrickse now goes off short, off the Waterland. Now tries to step Lewis Rees-Zammit, trying to keep up with him. It's hard to do, though. Ball on the outside. It's going to be a knock-on, and they will be going back for the penalty. I respect the prodigious talent that both of the teams have. But am I the only one who thinks that both Dan Biggar and Finn Russell have like spoiled kids when the referee decision goes against them, says Russell Dold. You'll notice a trend there. Fly halves. Normally, when you think of most sides, it's either the fly half or the halfback who are the ones who do a lot more of the talking or the complaining type thing. And now, because of it, South Africa are actually going to have themselves another penalty here. And it will be about, I'd say, 15 metres out. And also, I think Ireland have a better chance of the World Cup than England. Here's Mason there. And also, we have got there, to be honest, some of the calls have been questionable at best. And, oops, he did not touch the ball. Says Birdie V there. And also, we have got in there Tom Curry at number 7 in there as well. I feel like I want to read out those other ones, but I might get it wrong. And also, and Johnny Sexton also fly half enjoys a good old argument with the ref. There you go. That is now going to give the Springboks a 9-point lead in this one. And you're right, Russell, says RJJ. And also, we have got dodgy ref again, says Gavin. and second gear kicking in. It certainly is. And Japan came close. They did, but they keep on getting close, but not quite close enough to get the victory, which is a shame for Japan because they always wear their heart on their sleeve for the matches. But Alun Wyn-Jones, he is disappointed here. He can't quite believe that he was taken off the field for what he was. Okay, Lydia has made his way off the field now. So another sub being made for Wales, but they've got 10 minutes without a man on the field. And also we have got there, come on South Africa, we right behind you, says Scrumptious. And also what was the final score for Japan? I think they ended up losing by 5 points up against France, which was a very good effort once again. And Johnny Sexbabom and Dan Bigger, there you could take, could talk the backside of a rhino. There's Gareth, and also 2015, says Cooper Cronk there. And also Ireland have improved, but they are better than England. Or that they are better than England, says Mason. And also, do you reckon Ireland seems to never really lift at the World Cups? France is due for a win, says Junior Riley there. And also, we got their cheers, says Nathan. And come on the box, says Rowan. But now it is going to be another, or Rowan, sorry, I should say, another replacement. That is going to be Rowan Nokia now getting his opportunity. That one has gone short, but it wasn't straight from Wales, unfortunately. And also from Cape Town, where's the suit and tie? Missing that, says Ace. It will certainly be back next week for international rugby. I decided to take the week off for the kind of suit and tie and whatnot, but we have just got the hoodie on at the moment. But yeah, next week we are certainly going to have it back. And also his backside is bigger Dan Rhinos, says Fluffy. And also we have got the, I can see France winning it absolutely, says Mason J. And also last thing any of us wanted, that was rough, says Gareth as well. Yeah, it's always tricky when it becomes a yellow and they don't check it for the yellow. Like they say it's clear and obvious, and then they see a replay and it wasn't clear and obvious because it didn't happen, which makes it tricky. And France should take this World Cup. And also Ireland versus France World Cup final, says Floyd Kingy. And there, so that would actually mean that Ireland and France beat both New Zealand and South Africa in their quarterfinal fixtures to be able to have a decent chance. And also we have got there, be sure to tune in for the Rugby Championship. Lots of suit fixtures there, says Sebastian. There certainly is. Now a big push from the Springboks. They've got another advantage and the momentum is certainly shifting in this contest. Now the Boks are starting to run with some free-flowing rugby. Up a Lelefasi kicks it down the wing. He's given it plenty. He's given it a lot. He's given it too much, and it has gone dead, but they are going right back for the initial penalty. What Springboks go back-to-back. Rugby World Cup 2023 champion in France, says Nathan there. And also, well, I'm talking about if all the Northern Hemisphere teams are at the same level as they are now, says Mason J. That one as well, but that is going to be overkicked. But once again, they're going back for another advantage, and it was illegal scrummaging there against Wales. And they see the replay and compensate the 14-man team with the decisions going forward, says Gareth. And also England had a very easy pull, though, says Mason. And that's the thing. Like, for that one, the fact that the players were so adamant that it wasn't anything serious and that they had a replay already, like, there pretty much, it kind of... like, it's a tricky one because all it would have taken was half a look from the TMO before Alun Wyn-Jones makes his way off the field, or any player for that matter. It doesn't matter that it was Alun Wyn-Jones, but like just a player making their way off the field before the yellow card. Like they always check it for the high shots, check it for everything else. But for that one, they said, no, cynical straight away. And cards for bugger all these days, says Floyd Kingy. And also England have a really easy pull, though. There's Mason J there. And also the cards are getting really annoying, ruin the game of Pool B and C will be interesting. And also I still think France, if they're on the same level, they have to go. Oh, it's a great rolling maul penalty to Wales, though. Little bit of obstruction. And this is what the Welsh need here as they are down to only the 14 men for the next kind of 7 or so minutes. France and Ireland can meet either in the quarterfinals or the final, says Sebastian there. Yeah, so it's going to be pretty insane if they both make it through. I love your commentary, but the only words I am able to understand are Springboks and Wales, says Henk. Sorry, I get a bit excited and talk way too quick. I do know Yao Leka Ding, though. At the moment, you'd have to say Yao Leka Ding straight to Eben Etzebeth because he has been going very nicely throughout this contest. And yeah, Junior Ryder, I agree, says Mason J. A penalty to Wales. They've been able to kick it for touch, and it's hard to look past the French in the Saffers, in my opinion, says Easy Aussie. Or Easy Ollie, I should say. Right, line out throw for Dewey Lake now, 35 metres out. And it's stolen by Eben Etzebeth. Oh, it slapped straight into touch, and now it's going to be another line out for Wales. Okay. So moved about 2 metres down the field, but it's still going to be pretty good defence overall from South Africa at line-out time, and also Eben the Shark. And no, the Northern Hemisphere teams are peaking too early. So here's Cooper Cronk there. And also England will win the Rugby World Cup if they don't have to play the box. Here's Easy Aussie. Now it's being thrown in, nicely taken that time by Ab and Beard. They've called it not straight, though. And once again, Angus Gardner. Dewey Lake can't quite believe it. And no tries, WF. I just woke up. So here's Xavier Brown there. Yeah, no tries at all in this victim. Do you think it is better for the ABs to go to the World Cup as underdogs? Probably. No one wants to be a favourite of a World Cup because you always feel like the whole weight of that country is right on your shoulders, even more than just heading to the World Cup. And I don't see the Box winning. Rassi Gethond is just not good enough, says it was Gareth. All right, scrum feed now for South Africa. We are 64 minutes through this contest. Only 15 more minutes to go, but I should mention we have got another live stream a little bit later on tonight, and that will be the matchup taking place between Argentina and Scotland. And that will be kicking off at about 7:10 a.m. So that is in 2.5 hours' time that we will be starting our live stream for that one. So be sure to tune in if you are keen. And also we have got that, and we have seen Scotland do some incredible things at times. So if they are at their peak, it could be interesting. And yeah, Scotland are a hard side that you can't really underestimate for any games. I feel like they've kind of got that reputation of someone like a Japan who, if they turn up on their day, they can beat pretty much anyone. And can Wales come back? Says Cameron, they've just got themselves the penalty. So that will help out quite nicely. So the question is, do Wales take on the 3 points here, or do they kick for the corner and go risky? The last about 2 or 3 lineouts that they've attempted haven't been straight, and France should win the Rugby World Cup 2023 if they keep it up. So here's Floyd Kingy there, and also we have but they still have a lot of obstacles, and also you see it too, mate. I don't even see it peaks too early, says Nathan. Oh, this doesn't look like a good injury here for Dylan Lewis. Is there such a thing as a good injury, though? I think he went down in the front row and his arm got bent round backwards. Yeah, but there's a lot of obstacles. Right, what happens to Dylan Lewis? So he goes down. Okay, like they're saying, hyperextending the elbow might have been the case there for Dylan Lewis. And he is actually the replacement as well, the number 18. You probably don't want... Or actually, sorry, that will be Wainwright, in fact, if he is number 18. And also, Hamish, what was Fuzzy saying at the All Blacks press conference, says Cameron, I did hear only a little bit of a post-match review or interview from Ian Foster, and he pretty much said, yeah, it was tricky. Ireland played well. All Blacks, we gave away too many penalties and had too many cards. That was it, pretty much from what I heard. As also the South Africa teams, or having 2 teams in the final of the URC means a lot of depth. I can smell another World Cup. Never bet against the Box. And also we have got there the French are unpredictable though. Never know which French team are going to show up. At the moment, carries 4 from Kirtley. Arensa has played very well throughout this contest. 52 metres made. And now it will be a shot opportunity for, believe it is the number 22, Gareth Anscombe. Now he needs to make sure this goes over because you don't want to be taking on a 3-pointer attempt and missing, because or else then it means that you're still behind by 9. 65 minutes through, and also they give out cards too easy these days, and that's the problems. Can definitely win, and I just don't have faith in the physio. And there says Gareth, and also indeed, plus their infamous World Cup chokers happened 3 times for them in the final. If Dave Rennie was offered to the ABs, you're taking him as your coach? Probably not, because I like what he's doing for the Wallabies. That's a decent strike of the ball from Anscombe, and now it's going to make the score 12 points to 6 in this contest. But yeah, I think Dave Rennie for now, he's certainly doing well for the Wallabies, so I wouldn't want to take that away from them for that one. But if he was finished at the Wallabies, I mean, I'll probably consider Dave Rennie. And also, well, I think the contenders are France, South Africa, Ireland, England, and maybe New Zealand. So here's Mason there. And also, not just a biased English fan, but I think we can play at a speed no other team can get close to. Once the attacking play with Smith and Faz clicks, we may be unstoppable. And that's the thing, on the outside as well, like Freddie Stewart at fullback is phenomenal. Oh, Evan Etzebev giving away the penalty for the ball not quite being out. So because of it, it does mean that they will be kicking for touch once again here, Wales. I think the Northern Hemisphere should wait to see what happens next week. So here's Cooper Cronk. And do you think they will replace him if they lose the Bledisloe Cup this year? I don't know. He seems to be pretty well locked in. That's why we put him on a cardboard cutout. because they don't seem to want to get rid of him. So he's on that side. Stuart Hogg's on the other. I still need to change that to Scott Robinson or someone else who isn't zombieified. But yeah, we've got to decide what our face is going to be on the other side of the stick. And Ollie Hoskins needs to be called into the Wallabies team with all the injuries. And yeah, the Wallabies have been dropping like flies recently, unfortunately, having a lot of them. But Alun Jones now back out on the park, 67 minutes through this game and still only 6 points difference in this contest. And it looks like Damian Valimza bringing himself out onto the field. For me, one of the best players last week. And come on, lads, whoever scores a try here collects the reward. Says Sebastian, yeah, it almost is next try wins for this matchup. Although you would say even if Wales score the try, they may still be just a little bit behind. But Apalele Fassi has had a pretty quiet game overall. That is just because the ball hasn't really got out to the wings as efficiently as they would have liked. But currently, South Africa, 12 points to 6 up. And Dewey Lake about to throw this one in right. They've made a lot of mistakes here at line-out time. Ebenezer Biff, once again, brilliant work in the line-out. It's gone back for the penalty, though. And I have to say, it looks more like Wales are celebrating than South Africa. And it looked like almost considering going quickly right. What do Wales do here? Because every time it goes to a line-out, they're just getting destroyed. Do you think Offa should be a starter? Not for next week. He's too much of a liability, unfortunately, for them, I would say. So I would give Nepo Lalala the start. Then off the bench, Angus Tava won't be there, so I feel like you've almost got to go with someone else. And then you probably give it maybe Offa Tuangafasi off the bench. They're going to take on another 3 points here. And where's Nepo, says Nathan? That is a very good question. And also, but I don't understand this new attack pattern. It's like organised chaos. I really don't like it, says Gareth. And also, it's so hot on Ireland. 27 degrees, it doesn't sound much. We aren't used to the heat here in Ireland. Says it was Jack Cooney. Also, Offa missed the penalty. Yeah, see, for me, if we had a replacement tight head prop, I wouldn't even have Offa Tuangafasi in the lineup at all. But they don't have a replacement. So unless they bring in like Tamaiti Williams, maybe, if he's already in Wellington, give him a crack. As Orion Elias is not up to international standard. Says Gavin there. Oh, it's actually Dewey Lake now, who has been throwing the ball in recently. And good call, there's still time. Says Sebastian there. And this guy's boring. It's like South Africa and Wales are playing. Yes. Gareth there, keep falling asleep. Says Rio, stay with me, mate. We have got a game just around the corner. Scotland versus Argentina. And it should be very entertaining one and too much for the brain. Says Hanger Rat. And also Tamaiti Williams owned Offa. And at the Super Rugby final, says Kipkeronk, he's bigger. And Tamaiti is what? Up and coming, in my opinion. That's missed. And Anscombe misses. And also, you're going to watch USA versus Chile. I don't think they actually have it here in New Zealand, sadly. So I don't think we're going to get to watch it. Is it rugby or AFL? Come on, kicks, Benz. Says Nathan there. And also Richie at 10 and Jordan at 15. Jordan is dangerous off broken play. Says Junior Ryder. And also, here we go. Another penalty, idiots. Says Hanger Rat there. Kicked off now from Andre Pollard. But there has been a lot of questions asked about both of these sides throughout this contest. 70 minutes through now. And it is still put in, or sitting 12 points to 6. The stage, not a single try in this contest. Anscombe now goes back. Tompkins on the inside ball off to Josh Adams. Now one more on the outside. This is nice work from Wales. Now off to Lewis Rees-Sammet. He scored 2 tries last week. Can he try and get himself another one? He was lined up by Ebenezer Biff there. Dewey Lake hits the line hard, and it's a good clean out by Wales on Dion Forrey. Now Anscombe goes short once again. I believe it's Wainwright. Does get to go through there now, trying to step through Gareth Anscombe. Ryan Nokia straight on the... Nope, he missed the ball. USA Chile might be on the World Rugby YouTube channel. And there as well, says Gavin. So yeah, hopefully it is available somewhere for us to watch here in New Zealand, because it is certainly going to be a big one. South Africa been disappointing this test series so far. Says Jack there. I'd have to say, though, in the process, like Wales have also been very impressive throughout it. Yes, they've given away a few extra penalties than they would have liked to, but a lot of people expected South Africa to win both of these games by 20-plus points, and Wales have been able to keep it relatively close throughout the series. That's going to be a drop ball from Adam Beard, and now Waterkaland kicks it downfield, looking for the 50-22, keeping it low, and it's going to be a chasing foot race here, and looks like it is going to be rolling. Oh, that's brilliant from the kick of Waterkaland, and now Liam Williams running it back up to his 22, does the step as well around Dion Forrey. Running it up towards the 22, and also the game is up for grabs. It certainly is. If Wales can get themselves a converted try, they will take the lead by 1 point. But they need a converted try for that to happen. Damian Valimza does beautifully. Keep this one in the field of play. Moves up to the 22 now. Brilliant tackle made by the number 22, Gareth Anscombe, though. And Navidi trying to get the turnover and the breakdown on tryless game, says Cooper Cronk. We're heading towards that way And I was like, just as disappointed in my opinion, says Garland. Although the thing is with the Wales was no one was expecting too much from them heading into this. I don't think after the Six Nations, and also with your professionalism and composure, you deserve a top job, says Peter Lowe there. Although the sad thing about like the top commentary games or the top commentary jobs is I don't get to chat to you guys throughout it, which I feel like adds so much. Oh, Andre Pollard, I think, has just broken his knee. Nicely picked up by Talupe Falatau. And I don't think Andre Pollard has been able to fully recover. Now Nick Tompkins tries to go around the side. He's trying to dodge a few Springbok players just pretty much flying at him. And now it almost becomes a rolling maul. Jaden Hendricks is still out there. That's a bad knee injury possibly opening up for Tompkins if they don't get it right. Now Josh Adams passes on the outside. Kurtley Arenza gives it off to him. Pass them back across both of these sides, starting a tire as we have watched a physical test match between them. Now offloaded. I think he was almost through a gap there for Thomas Williams, but now Nick Tompkins inside of his own half, sling him wide pass out to Lewis Rees-Zammit. What can he do? He accelerates, he chips and chases, but it is going to be cleaned up there by Damien Valenza, who did put the ball down briefly, but does now find the clearing kick, and Wales will have the line out just outside of the 22, and Bigger needs to actually get it over the post as Aussie's rare game and also playing Aussie rules, mate. AFL says it was Nathan, and also, yeah, he got a face for Radio Rugby as well, says Mike there. I agree. And also that's something they can win, says Cooper Cronk there, and also Dupont and Intermac are key players for French triumph, says Sebastian. Right. 40 minutes since we saw anything from Wales in terms of points. Is there going to be something just around the corner perhaps? But I do see Grant Williams making his way out onto the field now, and that is for, I believe it's Jaden Hendrickson, and also ball moving way too slow, says Hanger at. Yeah. There's just been a few mistakes, and also Byrne, Furlong, Omani, Porter, Henshaw, Hansen, and the Fleur Sexton all had monster games. And also I agree, South Africa has been boring so far, says Bradley Petchin there. But Andre Pollard, he really hurt his knee the way that went. But I think it's also stylistically, Wales have been able to cancel them out quite nicely in this contest. They haven't really allowed that free-flowing game that we did see for South Africa up against the All Blacks in the Rugby Championship. It was the same in the first game, although that last 20 minutes or so was when we really saw South Africa start to pick it up. But they've probably had about 300 or so running meters in this contest compared to Wales, maybe 100 if they are lucky. Now, Dewey Lake needs this one to go in. It's almost stolen. And now it's going to be a knock-on advantage. Wales are not getting it right at line-out time. And because of that, is that the fire bursting into life? Well, it is too. The fire lives, ladies and gentlemen, in 6 minutes until we get to the end of the match. I think I'm going to be able to keep the fire going till the next matchup. And I was like, you're on points. And I was with their box selected 0 depth at 10 and also last 10 minutes. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Cheers for sitting through this low-scoring game, says Sebastian there. Yeah, hopefully you guys have still found some enjoyment throughout this live stream. We have got our next matchup that we are covering on the channel between Argentina and Scotland. That's going to be a great matchup. And if it's anything like last week, it will absolutely fly by. We may even have a guest for that live stream. Tamaiti Williams, close to 150 kgs. He's an absolute beast. And both teams are playing Safa Rugby, says Peter Lowe and Jack Cooney. So France winning the Grand Slam with a fluke as well, says Junior Ryder. And also we have got there, yeah, the French depth is stupidly good. Yeah, they have got a lot of talent coming up through their rankings, that is for sure. But yeah, anyone who is new, like I mentioned, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It is hugely appreciated. You guys all being here in France are the big dogs heading into the the World Cup, sorry. And South Africa will need to pull finger if they want to save the northern or southern hemisphere. And also you had to rub that in my face, says Peter Lowe. And there as well. Yeah, I had to mention it. All of a sudden I just heard crackling and I was like, damn, it's actually work. That's going to be now Wales getting themselves the penalty at scrum time, and they are both fired up. I believe Machunu gave away that one, and also likely France versus England semi, maybe one of the greatest games ever, says Easy Ollie, and also Tamati crushed Kia nearly Oosh, says Nathan. If Wales try and get bigger, better get a conversion. And also Gareth, no doubt, Dupont and Intermac are the key links for their backline. How's Lewis Rees-Zammit playing? He's been a lot more quiet than he was in the first match. I think that's because South Africa now know how dangerous he can be if they give them half an inch of space. And I'm going to piss on your fire, as says Peter Lowe. I mean, it might make quite the sizzle. You don't want to make too much smoke, or else ECAN might come and visit me, be like, you've got a smoky chimney, which you can't have. And I can't tell them, well, Peter pissed on it, so that's why it's smoky, because or else then they'll think I'm weird. And Etzebeth, early as he played against England, one of the guys tried to push him around and even just grabbed his head and shook him around a bit. Best player in the world, says A Swart. Now 5 metres out, Dewey Lake goes in. It's uncontested this time, and that is beneficial for Wales because now it starts to roll. They've got the advantage as well. Fired up to Dewey Lake. If they score now and get the conversion, this could be a possibly huge amount of valuable points. And also we need some magic from the box. And Tamaiti is strong. He will get better playing under Tom Robinson. Says Rio Gamer and Resamit. Runs like AJ Lamb says. It was Nathan Resamit being neutralised by Renza's ankle biting. There's RJJ, but currently Wales 5 metres out from the line. They've still got the advantage, and there's still 3 minutes left in this contest. So the more time that they can use up here, Wales, the absolute better for themselves. And also Wales are going to do what Wales always do and mess up, says Jack. And there, that is going to be another offside, and that was against Peter Steftatoy. South Africa's defence need to stay strong throughout the last moments of this contest. Only 3 minutes left now. And Navidi goes back to Hanscom. Nice backline, wide cutout pass for the corner. Josh Adams scores. And now it is going to make the score 11 points to Wales and 12 to South Africa. A kick to come that could change the game for the Welsh. And also, don't know what was that comment, Peter? You need to put it down a bit. There's Sebastian. And also Wales. And also know why they actually scored instead of doing something stupid. And also we have there Craig. But they all picked on form. And also Trojan says Sebastian and up Wales. Says Xavier and Wales says easy Ollie. Could this be a 3-0 sweep for the Northern Hemisphere? It's all going to come down to a kick though. And surely Wales have it now. If this is converted, says Jack. Although, that's the thing. There's still time left. There's still about 2 minutes on the clock after this kick goes over or misses. So there's still time for a late penalty. We've seen plenty of them in the games in the past, but we are almost sitting 5 a.m. here in New Zealand. So if you are new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And also we have got their nice, says Nathan. And how long to go? Only 2 minutes left in your bed. This kick. Oh, I just realised my bed's on the line. There's a minute and a half left. And if he gets this over, I might have to shave. That's a dangerous thought. And also minutes left too, says Nathan there. Right. Anscombe to line it up with a minute 20 left. It's a tough kick. Oh, it's beautiful. It's gone over. And now the score is 13 points to Wales. And where's the try? The corner. It wasn't deep, but that one has gone over. Wales are giving the Springboks a spectacular run for their money. Yeah, they haven't settled this box side today, says Craig. Right. 1 minute left on the clock. All South Africa need is a penalty to get themselves the win here. But to do that, they need to try their absolute best to retain the kickoff. It's a knock-on, but it's a double knock-on. And it is going to be a scrum feed now for, this is big, because South Africa could win themselves a penalty at scrum time. Wales lead unbelievable, and also Box gave the game away. Actually, it's the best hanging around, although it's not over yet. Like I mentioned, scrum time, they have been winning penalty after penalty after penalty in this contest. I'm starting to talk even faster. I didn't know that was possible. And also, your rugby fan, bro, respect, I'm an Avies fan. My talented players, other teams have to offer. And then Nathan has got a few surprised emojis, and that is certainly what we are seeing throughout this match. And also my heart says Jeff. There's and Gareth has got, and yeah, come on, Bok. Says Nathan, and also come on, boyos, focus, mofos. Says Fluffier. And Bok gave the game away. Says Hanger Wrap. One last chance though. Scrum, if they win the scrum, I think it's a kickable 3. But if they don't win the scrum, then Wales might win this game. That is the full-time siren, just the scrum feed to go here. And Elton Yankee's wearing a cap trying to hide that haircut. That does make him very recognisable because a lot of South Africans didn't enjoy his performance last week. It's a big push from South Africa. Wales holding their ground. If there was ever a time to do it, it was right now. And they're still waiting. They're still going. It's gone down on the front row. That's almost a penalty to Wales, but it's going to be available for Jaden Hendrickson now after Andre Esterhazen. All Wales need to do is get the turnover and not give away the penalty, and they will win this contest. But the Springboks, last week, they were able to do it very late. Graham Williams, he's close to the touchline. Lewis Resamit straight over the ball. And Wales, no, not able to turn it over yet. Still one last crack. Elstrad and dragged down Hendrickson. Goes back to Warakaland. It's a knock-on from Vincent Koch. And that will be the end of the game. And Wales do beat the Springboks for the first time ever in South Africa. History has been made once again. This is huge because we have seen Ireland win for the first time in New Zealand. We have seen England beat Australia. And now Wales continue the clean sweep, sitting 13 points to 12 at the end of this game up against South Africa. That is a monumental upset because Wales are ranked about 10th in the world rankings. Who moves to number 1 now? I think that might almost become Ireland, getting a decent crack at sitting at number 1, or France. And no, effing way. Wow, says Sebastian, exactly right. 3 from 3 for Northern Hemisphere sides. What does that mean? That means all 3 of the games next week are going to be the deciders. And thank you for the broadcast, Seth Enrique. The only thing we need now is Scotland to beat Argentina, and every single game is going to be a deciding match. And do it for the Southern Hemisphere, says Junior Ryder. Wow. And also, we have got thanks, Amy, says Russell Dolan. And also, we have Scotland are going to lose now to undo all the hard Welsh and Irish work, says Jack. And also, no, good commentary. Thanks, dude. Says A Swart there. And also, imagine being South African, says Gareth there. And also, thanks, Amy, says Russell Dolan. Thank you for the awesome commentary, mate. And also, I did say that, however, scores a try, wins though. And yet the only try of the contest, and it was scored by Wales. I was almost speechless for half a second there. And well, it would be cool for 4 deciders next week, says Rio Game. And yeah, it would be great for rugby, that is for sure. Already 3 deciders is a huge benefit for us here. But massive win. And you'd have to wonder what went wrong in this contest, because there were little marginal things that did happen for both sides that did end up going rough, but there wasn't a huge amount for either side that I think they'd have to say on the drawing board that needs a huge improvement, if that makes sense. They just cancelled each other out very, very well. The comment was all over the shop. My hands are traveling on the keyboard, says Sebastian there, idea, says Cooper Cronk, and also absolute S-Game, says Springboky, and also we get the idea, says Cooper Cronk, and also that comment, Argentina will win, says Carlin. And then does that mean Ireland is number 1? I think it puts them very close. And well, that would be cool for 4 deciders and come on Argentina, says Nathan there. And we lost GG Wales. Immensely enjoy the commentary, says Zach Evans. And yeah, we are going to be back in only a couple hours time for our next game that we are covering on the channel. That is Argentina taking on Scotland, and what should be a massive game. Wow, I didn't expect that. A deja vu comment, says JP there. And I'll eat my hat now, says Gavin. And also up the Kinroo, beat the Bok. And on point, Hamish, lovely commentary. Nail biting in the end. Lackluster Bok performance, says Ardita. And yeah, next week it's going to be all on the line, and that is why it is going to be just massive for all of these games. 1-1 in 3 games of the series between Ireland and New Zealand, Australia and England, and now South Africa and Wales. My heart is pumping out of my chest, mate. Cheers, Sebastian. Also, well done, Wales. It's sad that we don't win, but well done. Cheers, Jamie Lee. And there as well. But yeah, that's the thing. The Springboks, they will certainly look to improve in the next contest. And what's going to be shocking is when Aussie beat England, says Sparkles there. And I didn't notice you didn't bet on Hurd. I didn't bet you Hurd on today's game. And there says Thick Boy. Or I didn't bet your beard. No, I actually did. That's the thing. I have to shave before our next live stream. I'm going to just have a mustache. Thank you, Wales. No, that's all good. I probably needed a shave anyway. Like people have said, it looks like bum fluff. And it's got a bit rough. And also, guys, no negativity, no saltiness. We lost fair and square. There, Wales enjoy this moment. And there as well, says Gareth. And also France number 1, Ireland number 2, Springbok number 3, and the All Blacks number 4. Gee, so it's had a big old change in the world rankings. And also had a Wales lose to Italy 4 months ago, says Cooper Cronk. Very good question. But they've been able to turn it around big time. And also go on the Taffy, says Lone Wolf. And also the hell that let Scotland get the win as well, says Sebastian. And also close game, even though it was one of our worst teams. Not even the full bomb squad on yet. And also Fuff and Colby were both off. And we also had no good kickers. Oh, we need Mornay staying back, says Springboky Centre. And yeah, as well. But nonetheless, I guess I got to go have a shave, ladies and gentlemen, because I shouldn't have bet the mustache on. Well, it's just going to be the mustache. I'm going to look like Nick White, but I imagine being that guy right now. Says that Nathan. Yeah, as well. And also, well, it could change next week, says Cameron. It certainly could. And also, it's a good one for rugby. And the big picture says A Sport. Exactly right. That is why I think a lot of people want to see Scotland win up against Argentina and other business. Got vacancy in the UK Parliament. Please, could you ask Jacinda to apply, says Tim Ed. I'll come over and be the Prime Minister. I think I'll be all right at that. I'll make rugby free to wear. I'll make it so that people can get things for cheaper. Although I don't know how that would go with the economy, so I'd have to do some research on that. 70% of the Scot team, South African, says Springboky there. And also, we have the Wales and the Savage are always eventually evenly matched. It's weird, says Easy Ollie. And also, they were supposed to be South Africa informed players, says Cooper Cronk, and Wales are rugby. It's in their blood as well. It says it was a Lone Wolf imaging. And also 1-1. Bring on the box next weekend, Tess. Bring pride back into the Welsh sport. And then also, meanwhile, in Wales, surely now Wales are the best team in the world, says RJJ. Yeah, we will have to wait and see. how it does go in New Zealand. Ill-disciplined today. Exactly right. Very ill-disciplined. A lot of penalties, a lot of yellow cards, a lot of red cards. And also we've got you're too handsome to look like Nick White. You look like Romain Intermac, says it was Junior Wright. I don't know about that. You haven't seen me with the mustache yet. But it is coming up very soon. As, Wales were able to get themselves the win. So very nicely done by Wales, winning by 1 point. But nonetheless, that is going to be the end of this live stream. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also, be sure to check out the pinned comment. That is the comment that will take you to the Kiwi Lads Sport YouTube channel. Be sure to hit subscribe over there. We will be back for Scotland versus Argentina in 2 hours' time. So be sure to check that out as well. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And I will see you all for the next one.